My body is the engine, I'm never second guessing. I just do what I was destined, cause I feel I got the blessing. Persistence and obsession, that's how you keep progressing. I already learned that lesson, yeah. I'm changing who I am. I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life, and I won't look back ever again. You can't stop what's moving, you can't stop what's moving. I'm changing my life, and I won't look back ever again. No fear, see clear, you deserve to be great. I know it feels like things get in your way. Push through those walls and the others will fall. Sit up, stand tall, you can get through it all. I need some energy, anxiety's no friend to me. I have a short memory, I don't really remember things. That's how I move on, that's how I stay strong. A new day's on, I'll keep moving right along. And I feel like the pain in the past, it needs to stay in the past. You gotta take off the cast. I wanna feel like I'm a new person. I wanna have clear vision and purpose. And I feel like the pain shouldn't last. If you can move on and past the things that make you feel bad, and you can change in your brain, I'm certain. I've done it before, and man, I'm not perfect. I'm changing who I am. I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life, and I won't look back ever again. You can't stop what's moving, you can't stop what's moving. I'm changing my life, and I won't look back ever again. I'm changing who I am. I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life, and I won't look back ever again. Yeah. You ain't see me activated, you better hope that you never see me agitated. I think about my actions, plan them out, evaluated. That's how I end up on the top, man, I'm calculated. My mind's a weapon, my body is the engine. I'm never second guessing, I just do what I was destined. Cause I feel I got the blessing, persistence and obsession. That's how you keep progressing, I already learned that lesson, yeah. I'm changing who I am. I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life, and I won't look back ever again. You can't stop what's moving, you can't stop what's moving. I'm changing my life, and I won't look back ever again. No fear, see clear, you deserve to be great. I know it feels like things get in your way. Push through those walls and the others will fall. Sit up, stand tall, you can get through it all. I need some energy, anxiety's no friend to me. I have a short memory, I don't really remember things. That's how I move on, that's how I stay strong. A new day's on, I'll keep moving right along. And I feel like the pain in the past, it needs to stay in the past. You gotta take off the cast. I wanna feel like I'm a new person. I wanna have clear vision and purpose. And I feel like the pain shouldn't last. If you can move on and past the things that make you feel bad, and you can change in your brain, I'm certain. I've done it before, and man, I'm not perfect. I'm changing who I am. I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life, and I won't look back ever again. You can't stop what's moving, you can't stop what's moving. I'm changing my life, and I won't look back ever again. I'm changing who I am. I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life, and I won't look back ever again. Yeah. You ain't see me activated, you better hope never see me agitated. I think about my actions, plan them out, evaluated. That's how I end up on the top, man, I'm calculated. My mind's a weapon, my body is the engine. I'm never second guessing, I just do what I was destined. Cause I feel I got the blessing, persistence and obsession. That's how you keep progressing, I already learned that lesson, yeah. I'm changing who I am, I'm making a new plan, rearranging my life and I won't look back ever again. You can't stop what's moving, you can't stop what's moving. I'm changing my life and I won't look back ever again. No fear, see clear, you deserve to be great. I know it feels like things get in your way. Push through those walls and the others will fall. Sit up, stand tall, you can get through it all. I need some energy, anxiety's no friend to me. I have a short memory, I don't really remember things. That's how I move on, that's how I stay strong. A new day's on, I'll keep moving right along. And I feel like the pain in the past, it needs to stay in the past. You gotta take off the cast. I wanna feel like I'm a new person. I wanna have clear vision and purpose. And I feel like the pain shouldn't last. If you can move on and past the things that make you feel bad, and you can change in your brain, I'm certain. I've done it before and man, I'm not perfect. I'm changing who I am, I'm making a new plan, rearrange.
Hey, how you doing? How's everybody doing today? Welcome in. If you could do me a favor and smash that like, that would be amazing. You fix my camera because I throw that crap down. Hi. So, thank you for coming in. What is this? Oh, that's okay. You can be in Miss T chat. You can be in that chat all you want. That's why I pinned my information at the top. Thank you. Thank you so much. We got some surprises for you tonight. We do. Want to voice some opinions because I don't appreciate some of the opinions. And I know there's a lot that are on there. Yesterday was supposed to be a live about mental health, right? Well, some like to deflect and also talk some shit. I don't appreciate it. This chat will be respectful. We will voice our opinions in the appropriate way. My channel is not made for drama. I do not entertain trolls. I do not entertain dickheads, asshats, whatever you want to call them. Small penises with big trucks. Turtle motherfuckers. I don't appreciate or acknowledge because in the end of the day, do they make an impact in my life? No. But it does when I see somebody and their mental health being affected by some bullshit, bullying. And that is what the issue is. You may not like somebody. You may not disagree with them. It's okay to disagree, to agree, or agree to disagree, whatever the fuck the saying is. But there comes a point to where when you're affecting somebody's mental health, blood's on your hands if something happens, motherfuckers. And I'm being dead serious. On to the next business. I don't appreciate all the he said, she said bullshit. Only one person I've told this to, and he can testify. I document everything. Every single one of my phone calls, look it up. It's the Cube app. Records every fucking phone call. So he said, she said bullshit does not qualify, nor do emails, texts, anything above just normal banter. It's one thing when a creator wants to normally banter with you back and forth like you do when you don't have any content. Cool, have at it. But when you're bringing people into it that don't want to even think anything to do with it, shows who you are, shows what you stand for. I may put up with some bullshit and I may put up with some shit that I don't agree with, but I handled my shit behind closed doors. I'm sorry I'm not reading chat right now. I will catch up, but I wanted to address some things before I bring up my guests. You want to act like an adult or be treated like an adult, act like a motherfucking adult. You've got kids. Be an example. Set the example. Don't be the motherfucking example. Because when the tables turn, look who they're looking up to. Look who they're referencing. Or if you would like it to be reciprocated. God forbid that ever happens. Now, when it comes to getting a phone call, hold please. I'm still on my rant. So, if any of you paid attention to, I lost somebody to suicide. I put it on my name to never let it happen on my watch again. Because that person reached out to me. I live with that every fucking day. And God forbid something happens and you have to live with that every fucking day. And if you don't give two shits, then it just shows you have no fucking soul. And the cases that you're covering, you do not give two shits about. Because that's what brought me to YouTube. That's what brought me to true crime. I came to YouTube and true crime to be a ripple, a voice for the voiceless, to stand up for what is wrong and what should be right. A lot of you've got that wrong. So I'm speaking to subs out there who have seen me across almost every single platform, from Icked Mel, Dolly Vision, Bullhorn, True Crime with Eve, Jim X. I can keep going. Justice for all. I'm across the whole goddamn platform. And I have seen stories where it physically hits them at home because you fuckers go real life and you fuckers sit there and intimidate and harass. And reality, here's a little dish for you. Look up the codes to the subs that are being harassed. Look up the codes to who's harassing you, from what state they're from. Keep receipts. Post those receipts with those codes and tag motherfucking YouTube support. Because when it falls on the mental health of one other person and you don't know what their mental history is or what they've been through or what they've gone through and what road they have traveled, listen here, motherfucker, I keep every fucking receipt. And I've been through almost everything that a person could be through since they were motherfucking 60 or 70 or even on their deathbed. Comes to a time where you're all talk and no bark, but on the receiving end, there might be a life lost because of it. And I'll be damned, motherfucker. Let me catch one of these happen. Because I know the right people in the right places. Between law and legal. It's one of the benefits of living in a rich city. I may not be privileged. I may have lived a wrong, hard life that many shouldn't go through. But you know what? Let me tell you something. There's two roads you can go down. When you get shit handed to you, there's two. You can continue going down that shitty ass road and being a dickhead loser and making others feel worse just because you feel shitty about yourself or your situation instead of making an active within. I'm not talking about the exterior of how it looks. I'm talking about your motherfucking internal in. When you work on that shit, then you have every fucking right to talk badly about somebody that hasn't even gone against you. That's just fucked up. And the point that was speaking yesterday, when certain words were being said, I think it had to do more with the delivery. If you support said bullies who give the dumb, I don't know. Here's a little secret to y'all. Before my husband, I only dated bad guys. I.e., how do you think I learned about the pearl implant? Seorg, you can testify to that comment. Not pertaining to Seorg's piece, though, but... or the cartel. I have dated, and I know that manipulation, the verbiage, the downright bullshit, sweet motherfucking talking that not everybody has been exposed to in their everyday motherfucking life. Some of you need to wake up and smell the roses and put a stand on for what's right. Because certain platforms that many of us, I know most of you in chat, many of us, we all go to multiple of the same platforms. I see y'all. I may not interact, but I sit back and observe. Pay attention to who's talking and what's coming out of their mouth and what comes behind it. Is it with good intention or is it with some ghetto ass bullshit to just start drama? If you want drama between creators, like I said, that's fucking fantabulous, motherfucker. But when you're going to go after somebody that has no dog in the fight, i.e. a creator, i.e. family or children, you've damn lost your head. And some of you subs, I question. Are you really sitting back and enjoying this shit? Because if the tables were turned, how would you fucking respond? You heard me yesterday when I was speaking on my life. I even had my own uncle put a gun right to my face. I don't play kindly or appreciate. So that was what my platform is going to be about. Highlighting cases that need attention, that I genuinely care about. Not just grifting to grift. I actually have a passion in this shit. And also a passion in being a ripple to somebody to empower them, to stand up for what's right. If you can't stand up for what's right, get the fuck out of here. Because if I stand for something right, you may not see it here on this screen, in this world of YouTube. But the reciprocators, they done got a phone call from me. And they heard everything that I bitched about. But let me tell you first, when I do have a complaint, I bring my receipts. I bring my motherfucking facts. I don't sit here and say, well, little do they know that I've got this A, B, and C. No, motherfucker, I'm an open book. I throw it all out. And when I'm wrong, I man up and I'm wrong and I apologize. Some of you got to take 2 steps down off of your prideful platform and admit, what intentions do you really have? Does it make it feel good to go after certain people? Did it feel good when I went after you? So why the fuck are you returning it out of your own goddamn anger? That's your own motherfucking issues that you got to put to bed. And nobody can do that but you. Perfect example. Want to know? You see many cases where it is a federal crime and it's a potential death sentence. Now, all of you think about this right now. We're going to have a Miss T study session. Look at back the cases of all the death penalties and reflect how many people cheered, I will finally get justice, when they're put above. And then after that person, which I'm not against the death penalty. I'm for it. I don't think our laws are strict enough in the jailing system for some offenders. A lot of them are a slap on the wrist. But how many? I would like to see chat tell me. How many of those victims come turning around and saying, now I feel a lot better after that fucker died? Tell me, give me one name of one offender that felt better after. One victim, I'm sorry, felt better after the offender was put to death. That is my point. No one can cure your brokenness, your bitterness, you're pissed off, your anger, you're upset, you're tired, you're miserable. Nobody can fix that but yourself. The fire within of setting the example and not being the motherfucking example. This is my call out to the subs at this point. You see a creator being the example, playing the narcissistic victim. That's a good sign to check out, unless you realize it's just a set-up battle between the two, and that's just fun to watch them banter. But when you see it goes real life and it affects people that are not involved as a creator, that's when you got to stand up for what's right and not that bullshit. Or creators that don't even want to be involved in it. Okay? Going after creators that don't want to be a part of the drama simply by association. Let's just say, time's coming. Things will be changing. Because education will be rolled out on cyber stalking, cyber harassing, your rights, your rules, your regulations, and what steps to go by before you want to pay for a legal route. I have always been one that stands up for what's right. And if I think it's wrong, I'll let you know. But I'm an adult. There's a difference there. I handle my shit on the phone, in private. And like I said, that Cube app can back all that motherfucking thing up because every phone call gets recorded and documented on my phone. So if any of you question my loyalty, my integrity, anything, or the narrative, I've got every receipt you can think of. You either handle it with class and dignity, or keep your drama to your own channel, or be butt buddies and call another creator and see if you can banter with each other. If y'all aren't on the same page of causing drama to each other and unspoken, behind the scenes, subs don't know, that's one thing. But when it affects real people with real lives and then also has mental illnesses, I swore I would never have another person's blood on my hands after Eddie died. Like I said, you don't know what roads they've traveled. You don't know their history. You don't know their upbringing. You don't know what they've been through themselves. Because the most well-put person can be the most fucked up inside. And the biggest smiles can be your worst enemy. Because they're the ones that want to make the impact in the positive direction. So, subs, I'm calling upon you to stand for what's right in chat and who you support and how and why. And I'm going to continue my mission of being a voice for the voiceless and being a voice and standing up for what's right. I will always have dignity. I will always have respect. But when you cross that fine line, and many of you who have followed me since this past year when I first started this, no, I do not. I stay out of the drama until it reaches a line that should not be crossed. When it comes to your loved ones and your kids, the back and forth bullshit, and then the ones that are indirectly involved, you need to take a seat. Come to Jesus. Maybe you need to go sit in a motherfucking pew with all the other hypocrites. Maybe wash a couple feet, feed a couple homeless, instead of drinking down your miseries or popping those pills to feel better. Because you know what that really is, motherfucker? That's called a depressant. So you're not going to feel better. You're just going to be worse. Research it. Before I bring my guest up, I do want to address Shack Lady. I happened to read an email I received from you at 4:44. Oh, it wasn't 3:33. It was 4:44 Eastern time. Apologizing, and you don't want to be a part of the drama, and you don't want to be a part of this bullshit. And how hypocritical everybody is. Well, you know what, motherfucker? You know I keep my receipts. I modded for you. When Salty was in chat offering people a $500 bounty to dox your motherfucking ass. That's who went all buck wild to strike you down for the recordings that Jim and X wanted. Just be honest. Because everybody's seeing through your lies. You forget I modded for you then, don't you? My response to that email, ladies and gentlemen, was no need to explain to me. I'm watching you right now. Little does she know when I saw it or she saw it. But you don't have to explain shit to me in the middle of the night. I'm reading it right now as you're on somebody's live, talking out of both sides of your asshole, which is your mouth. I used to have respect for you. You say on the phone, you cannot grab a link or come on panel or expect to be on panel because you are eating your ravioli, whether it be in Arizona or Tennessee, when you're constantly chewing online. I'm one of those motherfuckers that don't like hearing people eat. You saying that you fully believe last night was a setup? Wrong, motherfucker. If you didn't call and start yapping those gums, I'm not talking about your teeth, your gums, yapping, that clip would have never come up. I tried to keep it calm. But when I see bullshit, I call bullshit. And then I also sit there and say, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't like the drama. I don't want to misinterpret this. But then on the live today, well, I could care less about that recording because I have something that makes a certain someone a worse ass. No? Y'all heard it. calling you on your bullshit. So you have other recordings that you're just going to be like, motherfucker, do you realize you're not talking on a live stream? You're acting like you're talking to a select few. How stupid do you think? You think people are ignorant to your games of back and forth out of each side of your mouth? Make that make sense, y'all. And I used to respect you. And you know what I constantly hear when I hear the StreamYard bullshit? I don't have good signal all the time. I don't run the other but myself on my computer. All I hear is like that Peanuts teacher, but a different version, Gru from the Minions. Or was it the Minions? Blah, 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 blah. That's all I fucking hear when you want to bring up phone or StreamYard issues. If you have that many issues, stay off the motherfucking internet until you get some. And let me retract. That person you are speaking about striking down your channel, wasn't that actually salty? That was the only person that made that live look bad in a light, because that was around the same time he attacked Lacey H and Diva Puss and saying some pretty derogatory terms. So I'm going to call a hypocrite when I see a hypocrite. You're going to talk shit about Jim and Mr. X talking about a female in a derogatory word or name? You allow it on your own motherfucking platform. But worse. Because then, what do? I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. That's all I see. When you were put on air and you were calling privately, Shaq, that's because people have caught on to your bullshit. And you were put on speaker. Because you are shady. I figured this out today. Shaq, lady, take out the CK and take out the LA. It's motherfucking shady. And then this is what really got me. You avoided that clip. The clip would have never played if you didn't weasel around, i.e., and I quotate, had to figure out how to rule all this gossip off of hearsay. Then goes on to, once you debunk that shit, you find out more factual information, not here to play. And I have my agenda. And when I find out the other person has certain information that I want, I'll sweeten up to them until I get the information. But I am nobody's friend. YouTube, welcome home, motherfuckers. Here's the highlight. Nobody's a fucking friend. You can be associates. You can be collaborators together. But shit like this is what fucks up actual things that can be taken in the proper direction, is the pissing of the egos. Regarding Ron Tello and Bob Farrell, I question Mr. Tello. He even made a couple blogs on me. You remember that, Shaq? He did. He made a couple blogs on me just because I wanted to actually not highlight Sleeper or him, but highlight the fact that he said I'm not a suspect, but should be, just to give enough fire in the ass to go search that property that's been fighting to be searched. That's simple. And Bob, you questioning if he was a real cop? You questioning his credentials? Bitch, you haven't shown any of them. military, nurse, LE, whatever the hell, paratrooper. Let me think of something outrageous. A veterinarian? What else are you going to have on the fucking list? You don't have teeth? You don't have eyes? Oh, I need my glasses. I can't see. My eyes are fully dilated. I'm negative 3.75, by the way. I can't hear out of one ear. Bitch, me too. I've got permanent hearing loss. Do you see me bitching about any of this shit? No. Those two men had your platform and carried your platform. Instead of listening, you close your eyes and rant about the same shit. They actually had interest and belief in you. You may sit there and say, well, they don't have a problem. This is okay. But you obviously didn't hear when they called in or texted in chat, because you do know me well enough that I do sit back and observe and listen before I make any judgment or assumptions or comments. Those two men supported your channel. They still. But to pull out bold-faced excuses out of intimidation and loyalty to somebody, I'm calling your bullshit right now. Because those men came back and reached out. For you to question their integrity, their work, any of it. Look into the mirror. You haven't said one goddamn thing, except for you went packing through the ghetto with a gun that the cops won't even go through. Trust me. I have a memory of a motherfucking elephant, and I keep my receipts. You're far from ignorant, but you're trying to play the stupid, I don't know what you're talking about game, as if it has been sold so old for so long. That is why I'm allowing this live to proceed. Ladies and gentlemen, I have two panel guests at the moment, and I'm about to present them. Thank you for listening to me, but I'm calling some bullshit tonight, and this will be the only time you will see it. Here is Mr. X, and here is Looky Lou. Welcome.
You know, this is the first time I've ever been on camera on anybody else's show, Miss T. It's the first time it's ever happened. And this is a giant PSA to not do drugs. Queen Crack sold crack to an undercover officer, okay? That is why she is in the place she's in her life, okay? That's number one. Number two, Perplex QT's dead husband is dead because he dealt in drugs. Very simple. Next, it's a drug. The reason you got a big fat fucking pumpkin head is because you got a drinking problem. Don't drink. Don't do drugs. And the real turtle here, I'm sorry, is not Mr. X. This existed long before you ever tried to be creative. The real turtle is you, Doug. You know what I mean? Now, I understand that your turtle has nothing to do with the size of your drugs, or has to do with the size of your dick. But the reason you went to prison is also drugs. And that's why, folks, all of these motherfuckers have been buried. They're all done. They buried themselves a long time ago because they have no accountability. They don't understand right from wrong. That's why they, at age 40, live in a one-bedroom apartment from a Chase Bank somewhere up in the fucking valley. And that's why I'm on the beach today. The fact of the matter is, folks, don't do drugs and don't be a loser. It's that easy. Now, Miss T, we got Kelly here. Kelly, what's going on?
Hey, what's up? Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, can hear you perfect.
All right. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. I actually got to see some turtles today. all different sizes. And I saw the big ones have a little mating session. I kind of had to scoot by really fast about. Didn't look too exciting. Slow and a lot of
Very
groaning.
slow. Yeah, I bet.
So let's get over to the Shack Lady thing, Miss T. I heard you talking about it, and she goes on. Here's the thing, Shack Lady. Let's just say this as it is, and it's real simple. You had a missing son. You found your son. Your son was found, kind of like Candace Howard, but a different scenario. But my question is this: you want to be an advocate, right, for missing people? Mr. X is not an advocate for missing people. I'm an advocate for Jim Terry. That's been said since day one. But you are questioning why I don't show my face. Why don't you come on camera, and why don't you bring your son on camera and talk about the missing case? I know why. Because you talk out both sides of your mouth. You're two-faced. You're a coward. That's why you need to run to people like Salty Pancakes, even though he tried to shut you down. That's why I'm going to email you, Shack Lady, Bree. I'm going to email you information from your show that you wouldn't give to me. Let's back up, Miss T. I was on Shack Lady's show. The final time I ever talked to Salty Pancakes was at 5:30 in the morning. Generous people recorded that conversation. This man, Salty Pancakes, has been calling me a P. Why would somebody write a children's book? Why would somebody make a horror movie? Why would somebody make an action movie? Because they want to entertain different people at different ages? Grow up, you fucking piece of shit. I have never been arrested. I have never been in any prison time or jail time like you assholes. Take a drug test. Let's forget about fighting. How about we just all take a drug test and let's see who passes and who doesn't? So we have a situation, Shack Lady, where on your show, which you privatized it, and you have a person, Mike Ermer, Salty Pancakes, saying that I'm a P, that Jim's a P. And I asked Salty Pancakes very simply, where is this audio recording? Because now he's got some Arab guy named Bandit saying the audio recording exists. It does not. The audio recording of me talking to Mike Ermer, Salty Pancakes on your show, Bree, Shack Lady, is this. Mike, hey, Salty, do you have this recorded? No, my word's not worth anything? No, it's not. Because you spent 3 years in fucking prison. That's why your word's not worth anything. That's why you're a foreman for a construction company, a lawn service company in Utah? You haven't accomplished anything in your life like me. This lady below me actually owns one of them. You don't do anything. Now, Shack Lady, you are so gleefully obtuse that you pretend like you don't know what we're talking about. Email that conversation to you. Why don't you say just play it? Why does everything have to be a private conversation, Shack Lady? There's nobody setting you up. You called in and we put you live on the air. Why can't everything be public for these people? If you're searching for a missing person, why can't it be public? You're not law enforcement. You're LDS. You're not LE. What the fuck are you talking about? Why does anybody owe you answers? Nobody owes you answers. You're a coward, and there is a reason you hide your face. You guys know who I am. You know who I am. Okay? Shack Lady, come out. Let's talk about your son. Not in a negative light. Let's talk about how he was found, why he was missing, who he is. Oh, because it's going to cause trauma? Well, yeah, trauma like calling somebody a pedo? Trauma. You know who the real P is? Your hero, Doug Hutton. Adventures with a Purpose, the guys you had on your show. You remember that? I was never on your show. I was never part of that drama. You people are cowards. And I have been out there, not in a mask. I've been out there in Playa Vista, everywhere else, and nobody showed up. And now you're saying you're going to put holes through Mr. X? Come and do it. I'm real easy to find. And there's going to be another public appearance coming up, and another one, and another one, and another one. It's all bullshit. You won't show. You're a coward. Go to that Chase Bank across the street from you, withdraw the money, and meet me. Or you know what? Don't even meet me. Just pay your child support. That might be better. Fucking bitch. And yeah, Shaq lady, I did call you a cunt because you certainly are acting like one. Who gets on the phone? She says on Miss T, she says she doesn't have her hearing aids in. Well, put them in. What's wrong with you? How long have you been on StreamYard and you don't know how to work it? Really? Gay Sloth been on for a month. He knows how to work it. You don't? You are two-faced. Nothing you says holds up, and you're a coward. You need to go out to Montello. You need to show your face and explain your story. I don't need to. I'm not in true crime. I'm in entertainment. I hope they find Dylan Rounds, but if they don't, it has nothing to do with me. Miss T cares about that stuff. I respect that. She cares. But Shaq lady, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? You're an LDS woman who's been in some accident, who Jim and I have stuck up for, and Salty Pancakes has tried to shut you down. And then you attack these other ladies. You, ma'am, are that definition. And I'm going to say it again. By the way, Candace Howard, you need to look in the mirror, okay? I could call people whatever I want because I have lived my life correctly. I have not been in trouble like you have, woman. Shaq lady, Candace Howard, you two are both cunts. Period.
I have a question. How is it that Doug has like this made up mugshot of Jim? Like, where the hell did he get that? Is that something he just fabricated?
No, that Jim was Jim. I would rather have Jim speak about that on his own than me speak for him. But
Okay.
I think those were walkthroughs and they were adjudicated. So Jim had a situation. Like I said, I'd rather Jim speak about his own situation than me speak for him. But if you get processed, Looky Lou, Kelly, regardless if you're wrong or right, or they adjudicate it or they withdraw it, you will get a mugshot.
I have a question.
So there's your answer, but I would rather Jim has explained that before. So are they actual real life mugshots? Yes. Is he a felon? No.
No.
Did he ever spend more than 3 or 4 hours in a walkthrough? Was he ever in an orange suit? No. That's why there's a judicial process.
And the pedo thing, like he just keeps making up.
Yeah, that's not true.
Always.
That's a 100% lie.
That's all he is, and everything he says is facts is all bullshit. Fact.
Here's the other thing, Kelly. I'm not saying that Doug Hutton did not get out of his situation, but here's what I have said. Here's what Mr. X has said. Doug Hutton, LA Times. He got out of it. Okay. His brother. He said his brother is a sergeant. His father is in a local police department. I don't know every fact about that. But he was accused in the Los Angeles Times. The Los Angeles Times thought enough about it that they wrote an article about him sticking a broomstick up somebody's ass. It was national news. Now, here's the thing. If he got out of it, he got out of it. But that does exist. Now, by me saying that doesn't mean that's libelous. I'm saying that article exists. Period. It does. Go look it up.
I think
Jim?
I've seen his name in headlines, but I haven't ever read the article.
Well, it still exists. Jim, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Jim.
So, Kelly, ask that question again, but ask to Jim because he's going to be able to answer.
What question?
About your mugshot, what that was from.
I think I have 4 mugshots. Which one?
I don't know. I just seen one of them. That was like the.
What about it? You want to know?
I'm just wondering where
I look so good in it. You want to know, what is the question in regards to?
I was just wondering if it was a mugshot or if it was fabricated. But I guess
I've been arrested 4 times. Never spent a night in jail. Never had an orange jumpsuit on. I did what were called walkthroughs, and I've said this countless times on Tyler Feller, Doug's channel, probably for 5 years. The first arrest I had was probably about 15, 16 years ago when a promoter bounced a $7,000 check to me from a football team in which I cashed checks to myself. When his check bounced, my check bounced. I was in Florida. He was in Texas. They didn't go after him. They came after me. I subsequently went after him. There was a warrant issued for my arrest. I found out about it through a third party. I hired an attorney. I went down there, and I think that whatever it was, I wrote the checks to myself. The state of Florida, they take those very seriously. That was the first. The other 3 times were all pretty much the same thing. I was dealing with a high school football all-star game, a national high school football all-star game, which was in Sports Illustrated. It was featured on The Tonight Show in the state of Florida. I did some stuff with sporting equipment, which would have been a civil matter in almost any other county or state in the country. Pinellas County did not like me, some of the people that were there, and they said that they were theft by deception. So I had been sent bleachers like you would sit in for a football game that I was going to use. They were the wrong size bleachers. I told the company to come get them. They would not. They said, you have to ship them back to us for $1,600 worth of freight. I says, they're sitting here, come get them. They called them in as stolen. So a lot of those cases I was able with my attorney to beat. Now, if they file charges on you and you do walkthroughs, then you get a mugshot. So I have 4 mugshots. Let me reiterate. I'm not a convicted felon. I'm able to vote. I'm able to carry a firearm in the state of Florida, any other state in the union. I am not a convicted felon. I've never spent a night in jail. I've never had handcuffs on. I've never had an orange jumpsuit on, never been to prison, okay? There is one other thing that's floating around out there, and I want to make this very clear. It is a restraining order by a woman named Lisa Shiv. Lisa Shiv was never my girlfriend. She was never anybody I dated. I never met the woman. I was dating a woman that was not Lisa Shiv in Tampa, Florida. Her son, this woman that I was dating's son, was being sexually assaulted and molested by his step-grandfather. That would be, let me make sure everybody understands this. The woman that I was dating had a son. That boy was being molested by his father's stepdad, so his step-grandfather. The father stuck up for the grandfather, said it never happened despite the man failing a polygraph test. I confronted my girlfriend's ex-husband at an event at a school and threatened to beat the fuck out of him in front of his family. He ran from me. He was scared of me. Subsequently, the next day, him and everybody that he was with at this event, which was his girlfriend, Lisa Shiv, and her infant child, some little Asian kid, I think it turned out to be his kid later on, filed protection orders. No, not restraining, they started the restraining order process. In case anything did happen, they went on record. It's not some woman I dated. It's not somebody I was in a relationship. It wasn't like I dated her and she said, Jim's crazy, I got to file a restraining order. I never met the woman. She was part of a group of people that put that against me. Why? Because I would have beat the fuck out of this guy. I can throw hands. Always been in. Never lost a fight in my life. The only thing left for Salty or Doug to do is to fight me. And if they land east of the Mississippi, and let me know where it is. Now, if you look at the state's laws in Utah and California, if I show up at Doug's house and bang on the door and I go through state lines, you can get into a felony situation if he answers the door and there's a fist fight. You've actually incurred it. Now, if I'm walking down in the mall and some guy bumps into me at a Toys R Us or a Dick's Sporting Goods and we get into a fight, totally different than if I drive all the way to New Hampshire, knock on a guy's door who's calling me names on the internet and get into a fight with him and beat the fuck out of him. That is what they're trying to get me to do. Salty already no-showed Ty Corbin, who's a 60-year-old man with a back problem. Okay? Bottom line. The other deal is Doug Hutton, his family talked about him. I have a 20-minute conversation with Doug's in-laws talking about him being $100,000 behind in child support, not having custody of his children at all, threatening to do to his family 10 to 15 years ago what he's doing to all of us now. Salty Pancake Shack Lady, Bella V, Doug Hutton, all these channels share one monumental consistency. Right now, they are all losing or have lost money since these shows started. Between me, Johnny Yarbrough, Mr. X, and now I guess Guidance, Miss T, who is now monetized, Betty Hayward, if she would ever get her shit together, we are dominating their money. If you look at Doug's numbers, even if he had 1,000 people watching him, he's getting shows where he's averaging $25 and $30. The lowest show I ever had was $87, and that was 3 nights ago with a porn star. We did another $60 in Cash App, still $150 for 3 hours worth of work. Doug is doing shows for $10 and $20. They are all dying. That's why if what they were doing before was working, they wouldn't need to fight with us. So it's the last of what they have left. So as far as the mug shots, yeah, in the state of Florida, those are public record. So I've been I've been technically arrested. Now, a walkthrough is when you find out you have a warrant and you contact an attorney. They take you down to the police station. They fingerprint you and let you go. It's what a
They call
walk.
that here they call that a booking and release.
The booking
Just
and
like
release. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you got to have money. You got to have an attorney. So there's different ways to do it. So Lakers are beating Golden State 87-84. By the way, everybody, take the game over the total tomorrow. If you don't do that, you're a fucking idiot. But that's kind of where we're at. I don't know if that answers your question in a roundabout way.
If I can go over this really quick. Jessica, would you like a link? Smash out your concerns right now.
Whoa. Who's saying that I'm a felon? Somebody saying that I'm a felon?
Let me finish. Jessica, the issue isn't who's incarcerated, who was incarcerated, who has a history, who doesn't have a history, or who can buy a gun, who can't buy a pew-pew for some of you. The fact is it's a tit for tat trying to defame and pull libel. Jessica, would you like a link, love?
Jessica is probably not Jessica. And let me tell you something. Jessica.
I'm well aware.
Yeah. And do you know who this woman is? You ever seen her before?
No, but you know I'm very observant.
Okay, well, I just saw that. Jessica, it is not a fact. In fact, and I'll go one better. Don't even bother calling Pinellas County, or go ahead and call whoever you want. Right. My attorney at the time was a fella named Roger Feuderman. Roger Feuderman is one of the top attorneys in Hillsborough and Pinellas County for criminal defense. Contact his office. He'll explain to you what adjudication withheld is in the state of Florida, and he will walk you through the legal system. He will then give you the contact information for the law offices in Pinellas, which he also has, or to the county clerk's office in Pinellas County, and they will let you know. So if you want to do this, now this was already done by Tyler Feller. There was a lady on Tyler Feller's show named Kim. Was that her name, Kim? She already did this. She called Pinellas County. She did all this. There was also another show I was on with an attorney in Colorado, and his name, I'm trying to remember his name. I was on his show a couple of times. He's a big time defense attorney in Colorado. He ran my background while I was on his show, not a convicted felon. So Jessica Michaels or Mikes or whatever, you're 100% wrong. You don't know the law. You don't know me, and you're a shill. So yes, people do whatever you want and record it. Make sure, Jessica, when you call Pinellas County Sheriff's Department, or when you do what you're going to do, you record it and upload it. Because I'm telling you, it's not true. You're a liar. Either that, or
Jessica,
you're just.
Jim, sorry. Jessica, he did advertise he was going to go show up to confront someone, and it was a bit. It was a joke between him and X. That's why he showed up to his brother's hotel room. It was a bit. Keep up.
Well,
and I think it should be said like
YouTube as of January 15th, Jessica. So grab a link or shut the fuck up.
Why did I do that? We did it. Yeah, it was a bit. She doesn't know what radio is, but let me tell her why I did it. $678 is why I did it. That show made $678, Jessica, and it was one of the highest watched, most monetized shows we had that in the month. And yeah, it was that. Now, I'll tell you what, Jessica, you sound like somebody who watches a lot of my programming. You sound like somebody who watches a lot of what I do. That means you're either a hater for somebody else or you really are entertained by what I do. Bottom line is you just don't get it.
We got two situations, okay? Number one, Ty Corbin, Jim Terry VIP Plus, first ever episode. It's documented. You can go back and listen to it. It's on the VIP Plus membership. I don't need to sell the membership a lot. Jessica, you're probably not a part of it. Salty Pancakes in a roundabout way challenged Ty Corbin. Ty Corbin, a 65-year-old man, drove 2 hours Salty Pancakes backyard. Salty Pancakes no-show. That's on Jim Terry TV, VIP Plus membership, Jim Terry TV live call-in. I think it's around October 6th or 7th. That's documented.
And to be honest, I'm sorry.
Ms. T, last week or 2 weeks ago on Jim Terry TV 2, I gave Doug Hutton, No Thanks Investigates, after he threatened me and wanted to fight me, a 26-hour notice. I have in the Canva, in the YouTube thumbnail, the address, a 26-hour notice. He was 25 miles away from me. He no-showed to that. Now, you're talking about a truck driver that none of us fucking know, a tow truck guy who's somewhere in Kentucky, who's been looking to get his name said over and over and over again. I'm in Los Angeles. Jim is in Mississippi. We're not going to go to fucking Kentucky.
I'm just going to call it out like I see it, and I think Jessica could be salty, if not his wife, because look at the name, Jessica Mike LS. And then also it's 1278 behind their handle. That's 333. So grab a link or shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And Salty's wife, from what I understand, I hear she's a nice lady, but there were people out there like Weedleby. There were people out there that spoke about her, and I'm not going to get into that because I'm not going to drag somebody else into it who's not really a part of it. But with what I understand, and I can tell you somebody who is part of it, Salty Pancakes, is his marriage is failing. He is a person who's drinking. That's why he's got the fat fucking pumpkin head. He's a miserable person. Oh, my son got to spend the night. Congratulations. Congratulations. You could have a kid over from a previous marriage. Actually, it wasn't even a marriage, from a woman that you held down. I mean, that, by the way, Jessica, is also documented. But I guess allegedly it's not a real person. It was Miss T on the other line. Just like Doug said that those weren't the grandparents of his kids that Jim spoke to.
It's just as real as Jessica.
By the way, guys, I've owned 2 vans in my life. You are looking right now at one of them. This van is valued around $26,000. It's called a Volkswagen Westfalia. It's a camper that I would stay in during the football season. I've never had a child in one. I've never picked up kids in any. It's a $26,000 classic vehicle from 1984, and I owned one before it burned up.
Pimp. That is pimp.
I owned a 1984 Volkswagen Westfalia. I also owned a Chevy G20 van. Now, this is the tan van that I'm talking. You can see while I'm talking. This is the van that they're complaining that I had. I have a YouTube page in which I was posting vans that I liked called Jim's Vans or something. It's a G20. These people are dead wrong. Dead wrong. I also owned a Z4. $60,000 brand new. A Z3, $48,000 brand new. By the way, both vehicles were also in the 007 movies for James Bond. Nobody's living in the back of a pickup truck. Nobody's living and picking up people in vans. Now, Doug lived in a van. When this vehicle burnt at the Mississippi River, and Mr. X actually came to pick me up, when this van burnt, my insurance cut me a check for over $26,500. This is not some crack van. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And if you don't believe me, try to find a water-cooled 1984 automatic Volkswagen Westfalia. I'll wait. Betty
I
Haywood.
think we should also mention this, Jim, that when you were coming out to Louisiana, that van burned down on 10 and Dowman Road. There was actually at that point, because it was after Katrina, a number of years after Katrina, even 7 or 8 years after Katrina, things were still bad, and they're still bad there. That's New Orleans East. Dowman Road and the I-10 had an abandoned hotel. We have pictures of it to this day that burned down. They took that Westfalia to my place in an area called Metairie. Metairie is on the outskirts of New Orleans, okay? It's in Jefferson Parish, right off the causeway. And they proceeded to do an insurance inspection on it and cut Jim a check for well over $20,000. Now, if you look at the mid part of that van right there, what you're going to see is places that you put in, what is that, propane, water, there's a sink in there. The top goes like this. It pops up like an L. And
It's sleep for, it has a kitchen, it has a toilet. The front turns into I mean, listen, they can Google it. Also, they're saying that I'm driving around the country for nefarious reasons. I've been driving around the country for football for 23 fucking years. Every year for 23 years, I've held a job playing at a level of professional football that most of your kids can't even play in high school. So I played in high school, I played in junior college, I played in college, and I played in the pros for 23 fucking years. Every year since before YouTube existed, I drove around the country. And here's the thing. Don't you think if there was warrants or police that needed to talk to me, I'd be pretty easy to get a hold of? Don't you think if I was doing nefarious things around the country, there'd be a warrant out for my arrest and people would be putting stuff up instead of arrests that occurred 17 years ago? Let me reiterate. I'm not a felon. Never spent the night in jail. Never had an orange jumpsuit on. Never been in handcuffs. I currently do not own a van, but when I did, I own the one that you're looking at right here, the 1984 Volkswagen Westfalia, water cooled, by the way, which is much more expensive than air cooled. You guys have no idea what you're talking about. And bottom line is, the only thing left for Salty Pancakes to do is fly from his comfort zone to anywhere. By the way, I don't fly. And meet me somewhere and we'll videotape what happens. As far as this, the tow truck guy, Mr. X, I heard you mention him. How did his name come up again?
The lady is mentioning something about whoever this woman is, something about Kentucky and this and that.
So there's a douchebag. There's some douchebag that runs a tow truck company. He's been on a few of these shows. He's about 5'4" and he owns a gym membership. He's talking about renting gyms and doing all this stuff. He's acted like he's put my cousins and ex-girlfriends and family members' addresses saying that I'm there. Here's the deal. He's never called a show. He's never signed up for anything. He's never shown me one lick of anything. And what he needs to do is come out of his comfort zone. I will make him the same offer I made anybody else. Come out of your comfort zone. I am not going to drive 4 states away to meet you in Kentucky and go to some gym down the street from your house to get into a fist fight. We know how this works. Your hero Salty already screwed this up for everybody. And that was by saying, I'll fight Ty Corbin, I'll meet you, and not showing up. You guys are all of the same ilk.
It's very simple. Jim plays professional football. He is at games. Show up to the game. You guys know who Mr. X is. The book readings, the films, the this and that. Show up to one of the screenings. Show up to one of the readings. We are not difficult people to find. I'm in Los Angeles, and Jim is on the East Coast most of the time. How hard is this? Do I got to go waste more of my time and sit out on the basketball court? Do I want to make it? Doug is going to go and do a lawsuit after calling me a P? Good luck with that, pal. Okay? Here's what's going to happen. He wants somebody to be out there more and more and more. So what? He can serve somebody with a frivolous lawsuit? Come to me when I am public. We are the most public people, Jim and I, that are possibly exist out there. How can you could go to a football game, but you won't do it.
Miss T, can you read Sugar Plum's latest comment, please? This lady has been following me around the internet. I think it's important that we put this up because I got to make a point.
You know, you guys got somebody in the true crime community in Shaq Lady who's going to be involved in the Dylan Rounds case, get all this information. And Mr. X is an entertainer, so I have the right to say this. I'm not involved in true crime, but she wants to be or is. And she won't even come on camera, even in a fucking mask. You guys know nothing about that woman. Nothing. And she's playing both sides of the fence and will not give anything to... Didn't Salty put a bounty out on that woman at one point? You people deserve each other. You are fucking lowlives. Come for me. You won't do it.
Jessica, you're dead wrong. I didn't plead out to a felony. There was a felony charge. It was an adjudication withheld. You're not an attorney. You don't know. Once again, my attorney's name is Roger Feuderman. He was my attorney at the time. He's in Pinellas and Hillsborough County. Go ahead and give him a call. He will explain to you the difference. Just because there's paperwork. Hey, listen, OJ was arrested and put in jail for supposedly killing his wife too. He beat that. So you have no idea what you're talking about. Let me explain to you guys one other thing. Sugar Plum in the chat room. Where's Sugar Plum?
Starts 727, Jim. Hello, Mr. Feuderman. Yes, my name is some cunt that's on YouTube who hides behind a screen name. I'm calling about Jim Terry. Hey, I'm trying to figure out, was Jim Terry actually a felon or was it adjudication withhold? Oh, you're proving me wrong. Can you send me over some information about that? Oh, you will send it to me. Fuck, I am really a cunt. Okay. All right. And then here's Feuderman on the other line.
That was good. That was
Yeah,
good.
these people they won't do that. They'll take what, I see Sugar Plum. Sugar Plum, you need to look at men for their brains and not just their body, Sugar Plum. Yeah, I love you, Jim Terry. You're the sweetest. Earlier, she said she wants me to come over and beat up the pussy. It was disgusting. I don't think you should be talking to human beings that way. You do not see me objectifying men or women that way. But what I can tell you is go ahead and give Roger Feuderman a call, and he will explain it to you. I've had cases that I've worked under attorneys. They've called him. I've got the paperwork, but go ahead and give him a call. You won't do it. Just like we have Pinellas County's, the teaching head on a call in which they say, I'm not banned from any schools. It's all bullshit. You could say what you want to. By the way, not a convicted felon. Thank you.
Jim was never a school teacher. That was proven wrong. Jim is banned from Pinellas County schools. Proven wrong. In fact, you can see on the on the video that I put out, you can see the number, Jim. It's like 727-588. Like you're recording the phone. They can just call that number and say, "Hello, hey, John Frank, my name is Cunty. Yeah, I live somewhere in like Oklahoma or some shit state that nobody ever goes to. Hey, I'm trying to verify this information. There's a YouTube video. Oh, I'm wrong. Okay.
By the way, Mr. X, I got a call from one of our viewers who offered me 2 weeks in an upscale hotel in a suite in Las Vegas on the Strip. Any 2 weeks I want. Free.
And that will be with Miss T taking you on ghost hunts at the same time. If I can make a public announcement, I would like to appreciate I'm choking. I would like to say thank you to King and to Bob Farrell for their cash apps. Thank you so much. It means the world to me.
Hey,
back on to you.
I got to interrupt here for a sec. I've got 2 things I wanted to say and ask. Jim, why don't you do the 75-day hard with me?
What's that mean? I mean, if I saw you without a shirt on, I'd be hard in 72 seconds. I mean, what are we talking?
So it's 75 days. You have to stick to a diet, any diet. It doesn't matter which one. You have to work out 2 times a day for 45 minutes. One of the workouts must be outside no matter the weather. There's absolutely no alcohol or cheat meals. You have to drink like I think it's half or 3/4 of your body weight every day. You have to take a daily progress photo, and you have to read 10 pages of inspirational nonfiction each day. And if you fuck up, you have to start back over.
Yeah, that sounds like the worst fucking idea I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah, you want some advice? You want to do a challenge? Go to Las Vegas and take over 49 in the big game tomorrow. How about that?
Oh my God, that is the worst. That would be hell. First of all,
that would be hell. You got to have some discipline to do that shit.
That's the whole point. Is they say you come out on the other side the most disciplined version of yourself, and it teaches you so many different things, and you can customize it, to fit you a little bit better. But I start that tomorrow.
Why don't you have Shack Lady do that? Her first photo will be the Chief Shares will be the first that we've ever seen. Actually, have her do
a fucking hearing aid. How old is that woman?
I don't know, but I don't understand how somebody could do true crime. And I'm not a true crime person. I'm an entertainer that's here for Jim Terry. You can say whatever you want about Mr. X. I don't give a fuck. That's fine. I'm here to help the people who have helped us. I have never gone on another show, and I'm here for Miss T tonight. Miss T, thank you for being a part of our show and doing everything we've done. By the way, give Miss T a cash app, and when she becomes monetized, try to get in as the first ever person to give her a monetized super sticker, super chat. She deserves it. She's done so much you guys don't know, and she's put up with a lot of shit.
Yes, she has.
Period.
She's one strong cookie. Yeah. And secondly, Jim, does anybody know where how did we get here? Like with the whole Salty and Doug thing, like how did we get here? What started all this? I don't even remember. It's been so long and so much.
Their channels are dying. Their numbers are going way down, even with talking with Dylan Rounds. Doug went out and tried to do a couple of his independent shows. One was on Kylie Rodney. Another one was on some Mexican girl that went missing. He was getting 125 people. So they basically, they really can't create any content. So what they do is they just start shitting on me to fight with me, which gives them content and viewers. So they're willing, so their viewers, you figure there's 125 people watching them. 35 of them are the haters that hate me all over the internet. That's Candace Howard, Candace Cooley. That would be, what's that fucking pig's name that we got rid of? People like that. What was her name?
That was her alt.
What's her fucking
Katie
name?
King.
No, Divapus. People like that. Then they've got about 50 to 60 people that actually watch them. And then the rest are our people that go over there and see what they're saying about me. So they basically, then they all start getting together. Well, then I released a call from Salty Pancakes, one of his children's mothers. And she basically has had a restraining order on for almost a decade because he tried to beat the shit out of her when she was pregnant. And I haven't played that call. That fired him up. And then we took Doug down by playing the in-laws calls.
Which is on Nicolina 777, by the way. Nicolina, thanks for the Cash App. Kelly, it started like this. Jim was and still is a private investigator who went on some of these cases and only spoke about the cases that he was on. By the way, Bandit, Jim was never involved in the Kylie Rodney case. You're a fucking idiot. To say Jim was involved in the Kylie Rodney case makes you lose all credibility.
I never even talked about it.
Some fucking degenerate guy who's got 27 people watching him. But so what happens is Jim makes the rounds, kind of like a person who's got a movie, who's making the Tonight Show rounds, talking about cases, bringing awareness. And Doug, with his pea brain, was smart enough to have Jim on and earned a ton of money. And so did Tyler Feller. This is documented via playboard.co. They earned a ton of money, over $25,000 because of Jim. Everybody kept saying, hey, listen, Jim, you're the only interesting thing on here. And actually, you were actually involved in the case. By the way, Doug was given money to go up to Montello, Nevada. He never did. He never went up there. Okay. So what ends up happening is eventually it turns into, like with a lot of YouTubers, Jim doesn't want to do it. He's not a tech guy. Why don't you create your own show? Jim does. When Jim creates his own show, now they all think they lost money. But they didn't, Kelly. It's just Jim was more entertaining than them and had more people that cared about him who can bring him in a sharper light, like me, like Miss T, and them, like other people.
I think that, so, I mean, I've been with you guys since day one. I mean, I remember when Jim was going over to Doug's and with the Dylan rounds and all that. So I remember when all that was going on, but it just kind of seemed like everything just kind of got out of control and has just been spiraling downward. And I know there's competition and this is maybe the YouTube world, which is sad, but I think everybody here and on your channels as well, I think everybody here just compliments each other so well. And I think when something happens, like they're scared about the content, they don't have nothing to, say anymore that's worth anything, we want to hear. Then Jim just kind of pours a little more fire on it and just does something a little bit more, just takes it a little bit farther, and then they come back a little bit more.
We didn't talk about them. We didn't talk about any of them, Kelly, for almost 3 months. By the way, before we lose it in the chat room, I just posted it. And withhold of adjudication is a withholding of a conviction. This means that you are not convicted of the offense. However, it will be on your record and would either have been found guilty by a jury or pled guilty or no contest. That is what an adjudication withheld means. So that's why it still says felony on message boards and on Facebook. I am not a convicted felon. Right there is the absolute end-all be-all sentence of a adjudication being withheld.
And let's talk about the two people who are talking about this, okay? The two people, Salty Pancakes, Mike Ermer, and Doug Hutton, No Thanks Investigates. Both, not jail one night walkthrough and some bullshit behind it. Prison for a long time. And I'm not talking about 6 months. That would be long enough. I'm talking about several years. You can hear them talk about it. You don't have to listen. Salty, I became a better man when I stared at that wall for 3 years. 3 years? O.J. Simpson wasn't even in prison for that long. And you're listening to these people? Not you, Kelly, but I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
And then look at people that are on their shows. Now everybody knows who Mr. X is. I've never been arrested. I've said it 1,000 times. Look at this person, Kaylee. We've documented her drug abuse. You know, there's something in this country, Jim. I don't understand it. 20 years ago, I don't remember people having this many addictive problems. Everybody's on fucking pills, medication. They're on meth. They're this and that. What happened to saying no? What happened to going to the gym? If you're going to take anything, take some testosterone and get rid of that big fat fucking head of yours, Salty Pancakes. Do something. Run a mile and stop blaming others for you being a fuck up. Period.
Right. Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad. I just think with everything getting out of control like it is, I know that there's a lot of hate in the world, and I don't think we should add to any more of it, but I think they just need to stop. Like,
they're not going to. Why would they stop? Going after me is the only things that keeps them relevant.
Yeah.
So if Salty Pancakes didn't mention my name again, and he turned on his show Monday night, what would he talk about? Can't mention doing rounds without talking about me. What would he talk about?
Then it's over.
The Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what he should talk about? He should talk about the time he beat the piss out of his pregnant girlfriend to get drug money, or how he made her sell plasma and blood to give 50. You know what she told me? When you guys see Salty Pancakes and you think he's all fucked up, that's not when he's on drugs. When he's normal is when he's on drugs. I thought that was real interesting.
That is actually, I've seen that before myself. Yeah, I have. I know exactly what you mean. And they're evil when they don't have their drugs. And when they're perfectly nice, it's because they're in their happy little place.
Go and watch his show today. Go watch his show today. Put it on after this is over.
Time.
For 10 seconds. And
okay.
Kelly, you work out, you know what it's like to be in the gym, you know what it's like to be fit, to be natural. And you look at his big fat fucking pumpkin head and you tell me that that's healthy. Please tell me that's healthy. And then what we'll do is this. We'll do this test where you lift up your lip and you go like this, like somebody like a Crime and Justice. And I'm sick of hearing everybody having degenerative gums and this and that. And you go like this. And you lift up your gums, which I'm about to do. I'll put it on Jim Terry TV too. And I want to see what your teeth look like. Okay?
Right.
That is from doing hardcore drugs. Period.
Right.
Either that or you're the filthiest motherfucker in life. You have one tooth? Really? And you're going to talk about Mr. X? Get the fuck out of here. Show up.
Mine have all compacted, but I still have a good amount of all of mine.
The alcoholics get the bulbous noses. I've noticed, they get really bulbous noses. Like that's a big giveaway for alcoholics.
It's almost like the fetal alcohol syndrome side effects.
Is that what that is? I just know it's a bulbous nose. Yeah.
Here's why I hate alcohol, Kelly. This is why I hate it. Because if you're a fuck up and you do drugs, or let's just say somebody does meth or does heroin, they go in a corner and whatever, fuck them. I don't have the sympathy that Miss T does. God bless you, Miss T, for having that sympathy and for, talking on those subjects. But when you drink, or a person drinks, not you, but any person drinks, you can get in a car and hit me and hit a child, hit somebody else that has nothing to do with any of that. Anybody who has a DUI, I say one DUI, you fuck up. Okay, hey, I had some rice wine at church. Okay, I'm over the limit, this and that. 3 or 4, this and that. Fuck you.
Yeah. 3, you should definitely be out. Like, it's bullshit. It's so sad. I've lost.
And anybody who harms a woman, especially a woman that is impregnated by them, they harm a woman, okay? They should never be allowed to own a weapon again. Ever.
My ex threw me out of a moving car when I was pregnant. And he still owns guns.
Well, that's Mr. X's presidency. That's what I'm running on. You know what I mean?
And that's how it should be. And it should be, especially when they have priors for brandishing firearms. So they just don't. But
these guys, that was a long time ago. They did all their time. Selling crack was years ago. But yeah. Jim could do a walkthrough for writing a check to himself, and he's still a bastard. But all these crimes, prison. Think of, are we dumb here, or is this fucking high school? I mean, really?
It actually seems like it's fucking high school or junior high anymore.
That's the exact issue, is they're trying to deflect off of people looking at their own closet. and their own skeletons.
Where's Johnny at? Is he in chat?
He is in chat.
Yeah.
Hi, Johnny.
in
Hi,
chat.
PZ. How's PZ doing
Now-
today?
I wanted to say thank you to Desiree Parker and Tennessee Dilf for Cash Apps. I am partly guilty to
I
that.
kinda
What is
wanna-
DILF? I guess I'm old.
Dad, I'd like to.
Oh, I know like Dilligaff is, but I didn't know what DILF was. So, all right. I'm getting
I'd
old.
kind of
I
like to
don't
go
know.
back to hearing aids. What kind of freaky shit did Shack Lady have to do to get hearing aids?
Is
I
that
am supposed to get
Equalizer?
tubes in my freaking ears, and I have hearing loss, but you can see I still clearly communicate well enough.
You know
She
what I
was
do? I
allegedly
just get a
equalized in
better
some kind of
system every
accident.
time.
She was in
What
some
was
kind
it?
of accident that can't be proved, and this and that.
Oh.
That she lost her teeth, and a dentist messed up, and this and that, and this and
She
that. And
has
I'm not. Maybe she
excuses
was.
for everything.
Yeah, it's-
Everything's
it's-
fucking
you know
excuse
what?
with her.
I
think
come
it's,
on here with no boobs.
Me too.
Because you're badass.
So
You've been through. You've been through
I
a
just
lot.
call bullshit.
She has an
Yeah,
excuse
and if
for
you've been
everything.
a lot, if she's been through a lot, she could actually be the empower through her story.
Exactly, and her
Instead, she
strength,
uses it as an
a
excuse.
weakness, and excuse.
That's the difference between you and I.
We saw when Johnny Yarbrough came on Jim Terry VIP Plus and talked about his past, explained what happened to him, and people fell in love with him more than they already loved him. Okay? They already had an affection for him, but they started really liking him. Maybe love's the wrong word, but they started really liking him when they saw him open up and what kind of heart the guy has.
When you're
Shaq
transparent like
lady,
that,
if this
you
really
respect.
happened to you, if you really lost your son, and you probably did, why don't you open up your heart to people instead of snooping around and sneaking around? Maybe you're not allowed to because the LDS church. I don't know. I'm riffing. I'm not sure. Okay. Why don't you bring your son and be on camera together like Jim and I were and explain to that situation? You want to be an advocate for a place you've never been to, for people you don't know? Well, you know them. Why? Because they know your name and you fucking spoke to them on a phone? You couldn't even get a turkey together. You're going to help solve a case? Get the fuck out of here. What are we talking about here? Listen, you people are better off, instead of wasting your time on these fucking degenerates, having Jim, Mr. X, Miss T, Johnny Yarbrough, and having us entertain you. We'll still talk shit. We're going to talk cases and stuff like this. But these people are wasting your time. They're losers.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more does that have to be proved? I mean, do I really need to show up and get myself in trouble and beat
No.
a deadbeat dad ass like Doug Hutton? Do I have to beat his ass and get myself in trouble to entertain you people? Is that what's required? You guys already know this guy's a loser. It's a waste of your time and a waste of mine.
And
I
can
would
I
be
You
add-
just
happy
need to stop. I
to
think
stop
everybody needs to
talking about
stop.
Well, there's a hypocrisy, as in chat and earlier, he was saying, don't mention it. They'll freak out because they're narcissists. And then turn around and make 2 posts. So,
Right.
sir, use your own advice.
And here's the thing. This represents this right here, which by the way came today and is available at Teespring. This shirt, Firestarter shirt that came out in December, late December, early January. That represents, this was the idea of this. The drug addicts and losers kill themselves. They bury themselves, figuratively. They're a detriment to themselves. And we're just the people who lit the match and made them go away. But we won't have to do much. They're going to make themselves go away on purpose because this is what these people do, Kelly. They're self-checks. I don't need to
Right.
go up to the valley and fight this man. This man has already had 40 years of being a loser way before I ever had any interaction with him.
You know,
And I've had
I mean,
40 years of being a winner. He talked about that if we had a picture of his dead mother on a T-shirt, that he's going to get royalties.
I
How
seen
the
that.
fuck is that possible?
I don't know.
What is she in the Screen Actors Guild? Models don't get royalties. How are you going to extract that? Why don't you worry about paying money to your baby mamas? That's what you should do. Don't worry
And
about
you know
what
what?
Mr. X
If
does.
he has 100,000 in debt from child support, why is he not in jail? In Utah, if that shit flies, I had an ex that was 25,000 in debt from back child support and arrears. They threw his ass in jail, and he had to pay
California.
X amount to get out. So why the fuck is Doug out with $100,000 in back child support, not in jail? I mean, the logic behind them locking people up, is really actually quite stupid
you know,
because they
Kelly,
can't make any money.
I
Well,
don't know
I
the
can-
answer.
I can
There's
speak
no
from
bail in
reference.
this case.
It's
Go ahead.
not necessarily where they go into jail, but their passport can be revoked, or their license can be revoked.
See, in Utah, they just lock their asses up,
Each
which
state
there's no
is
logic
different.
behind it. No logic,
It's not
because
a-
if they're in jail, they can't make money.
By the way, Nicolina, if you end up hearing this, Nicolina 777, you made a joke the other day, and you were right on the money about Doug having rims. He's the kind of guy that would have rims on a car. He is the kind of guy that would have rims on a car, because if you watch his video, he pulls up to a place and he says, Johnny's in this trash can, or he's been
Yeah, I've
diving
seen
through
that.
trash cans like that. And then the next shot, you see the car to the left with black and silver rims.
I've seen
So
that.
the
You're
interesting
right.
thing is the complex that he actually lives in has a parking lot next to it. And if you look on Google Earth, that silver car is right in that parking lot.
I thought it was
So-
like gold or something.
Big deal. Big deal. Everybody knows where everybody's at. There's a Chase Bank right across the street, too. Woo! Who cares? I'm not going
So-
to come up there. I'm in Playa Vista. You come to me, big man.
Doug's a different story, but I think for Salty, he's got such an immense amount of energy and strength that he could apply to a more positive. That man can be unstoppable as far as his energy and his determination and his fixation. Like, he could go places, like true great places in life, if he would just put him in the right areas, because he's just got that in him. It's something that I only see in a few people, far and few in between, and he's got it. He's got that spark.
I don't see that. I see a guy who's around women who will only be on
that's his
panels with
path.
women, even though, I mean, he will not speak to men. He's cowardish. He's doxed everybody. And for
That's
some
what
reason,
he's-
the Masonic thing or whatever he tries to do, people are afraid to speak out against him. Here's one thing you'll never have to worry about, Kelly. Jim and I will always speak out and say what we got to say.
Oh, me too. I don't have
We're
a
not going to
filter.
fucking whisper and tiptoe around like
I
Shaq
hate
Lady
that
does.
shit.
I
Yeah.
think that that's part of that LDS community where they don't speak in full truths. There's
Oh my
something.
God.
I didn't grow up like that. I grow up to, hey, listen, you want to shake my hand? You want to punch me in the face? Salty
that's-
is
yeah.
a coward. I don't know. I don't know. I've never been to Utah. I mean, I guess I shouldn't judge,
So,
but that's what
no,
I see.
mean, yeah, like the Salty, that's what I'm saying. The Salty who he is now, I'm assuming when he got out of jail or prison, he was actually a pretty decent human being, because he did have time to reflect. And something has happened. Maybe it's alcohol, maybe drugs, whatever, but he's got something in him that a lot of people don't have, that is a good thing. It's just so buried, so fucking deep, and he's so dark right now that it's in there. I
Directing
see
it
it
in the
I-
wrong way.
Exactly.
addiction.
And if he could put that in the right way, my God, that man could be he could move
There's-
mountains. He could be unstoppable.
I don't think
in-
that he can.
In
Oh,
true
he could if he
crime,
was the
there's
right
ac-
person. If he was doing that in the right direction, he could. But
In
right
true
now, he's just
crime,
in the wrong place. Yeah.
There's actually a lot of them, and they're great entertainers. They're great public speakers, and people listen to them. The
Yeah,
fact
he's
of
got
the matter
something in him
is,
that draw people in
is
for sure.
they concentrate and listen to their own
I actually kind of agree with Kelly.
conspiracies.
Yeah, like, thank you, because it's just,
And it's,
I
I'll
see
tell
a
you what
lot
it
of-
is.
yeah, okay,
It's-
yeah,
he's
please
just
do.
really magnetic. And if
Yeah,
he wanted
he's
to
got that
use
charisma.
what he
Mhm.
has that draws
good.
people to him, he could actually
Yeah.
do a lot of good. But
So
I think
much.
he's
so
I
lost
don't
right
know.
now.
I don't understand. He's kind
He-
of vindictive.
He concentrates
sure.
on all the negativity.
Exactly. And if he would concentrate it somewhere else, my God,
And
he's just
ego.
got that spark that I've only seen on maybe 2 other people in my lifetime, and he's got it. He's fucking got it, and he could do something with it. It's just being so lost right now that he just can't. I hope he finds his way, and I hope he does change, good things in the world, and does it makes a difference. But he's got it. He really does. And it's just sad where it's just going to waste right now. Life's too short.
Yeah, see, and maybe you guys are both in Utah and this and that. I see a guy like that. I see a guy that's similar to Doug Hutton. You got to have a
Oh
lot
no, they're
of
night and
charisma,
day. I think they're fucking
a
night and
lot
day.
of
Doug isn't
personality. Well, let me finish real quick. there's reason people fail like Doug Hutton in this industry out here. They've never got their SAG card and this and that. So what I see of Doug Hutton in Los Angeles is what I see of Salty Pancakes in Utah. You got a failure out there who could probably be good. I said the same thing about Doug. If he were to really work on an act as far as a stand-up comic or work on a wrestling act, could he do some good? Sure. But there's always that guy, and I think they're both very similar in this way. They would be the best player on the team if the coach wasn't an asshole, or if it wasn't him or her or this or that. But the fact is they're not. So just because they inherently have that ability doesn't make them good. They're piles of shit. They've been in prison, and they're lowlives. And I'm a person.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that I don't think Doug and Salty are nowhere near the same people. Doug's not even in the same tier of what I see with Salty. Salty has that dedication, that drive. Doug, not so much. But there's something in Salty. He's got that. He could be completely just dedicated, and just that drive is in him. Doug just don't have any motivation, no desire.
You're right. Doug has given up on life. You're right.
Yeah, he's already given up.
He's given up. He doesn't care. But Salty Pancakes is some type, and I don't know what it is, but I could tell that he's some type of addict for something. I don't know what it is.
Oh yeah. An addiction can be fucking put in the wrong places, of course, but if you can take that and transform it into something good, he could be unstoppable. He could do a lot of things, I think, but I truly believe he could. And I think that him going to prison and stuff, like you said, it was probably the best. You do find yourself, I guess, but all of us who are here today are we've all had pasts and mistakes and fuck ups in life, and we are who we are today because of those. And I believe that, I believe Salty felt that when he got out, and then something just changed, and I don't know, he just got off the track. As for Doug, he just kind of just given up already. I think there's still a chance. Hopefully Salty, I don't know if it's going to take another stint in prison or whatever, but I really think he's got a chance to come out and do something good. I hope I get to see that. I really do. Because it's just in a bad place right now,
I guess we see things different ways. I mean, you're maybe being half full on it. I'm saying half empty. I'd love to see that guy get in the gym. I'd love to see that guy help people. He said that he was going to do some of these cases, the leftover cases that Jim worked on, or that the people no longer to work with Jim. He didn't do it. He said a lot of things. The only thing I've ever said I would do was entertain people and be entertaining and come on here and be ridiculous and make T-shirts and do openings and this and that. Salty has done nothing that he said he would do. He has found no one. Doug has investigated nobody. They've accomplished nothing. They're not even good at entertaining people. Okay?
No. Yeah. I mean, as far as trusting and stuff goes, that's a different story for sure, especially at the moment. But I just think there's something inside of him that could be so much better, that he could do something good with it. It's just he chose not to. I'd like to see the positive. I mean, I don't care for either one of them. I don't, because of all the shit they have done, but I would hope to see a change sometime.
Eddie Hayward, what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to bring you in here because I know you've been quiet. I don't want to monopolize everything.
Oh no, it's fine. I don't know. I just think a lot. I wouldn't know where to start.
Ty Corbin's in the chat.
That's right. I just saw him. I was about to say.
And
hi.
Kelly, there's a lot of good people out there, and I really don't know anybody ultra well. I mean, I know a little bit about Betty Hayward, and I know more about Miss T and this and that, but I don't even know them really ultra. I don't even know what Betty Hayward's real name was till a couple weeks ago. Okay, and after all these months, and here's the thing. But I can tell you about me, and this can also be verified because you won't be able to find anything else. I don't have that past that you're talking about. I find that actually offensive because you don't know, but I've never been in horrible divorces. I don't have any bastard children out there. I don't have any rests. I got 2 college degrees. I've never hurt anybody except for when I respond the way I do. You know what I mean? I don't have anybody out there that says, you know what? Fuck. Man, I can't believe how that guy did. He owes me thousands of dollars. Nothing like that. Never been in trouble. Never done a drug. Don't drink. Don't smoke. You know what I mean? Don't have a fat gut. have all my teeth. I have done everything in my life to be a good person. And when these two men love kids, love dogs, love animals, help people, when these two men make up a complete lie that says I'm a P, that's about as low as you could go, because there's nothing lower that you can do than to hurt a child. And for them to say that about me, I don't give a fuck what your opinion is. Those two men are losers and pieces of dog shit. And I would
100%.
almost be willing to risk my reputation and my perfect record to take a swing. I'm that close, but I realize I would be them, and it's not worth it.
And
I
I
completely
think
agree. That is
I agree
completely
with you
unforgivable.
100%. They're like they are horrible people. They truly are. Like I don't think anything different than they're not. I mean, they are. But I just think that there's a chance that one of them could possibly do something good. They just choose not to.
But what? Okay, yeah, they possibly could. They could. What about people like me who are? I am.
You're the perfect, right? You're the perfect person.
I'm not perfect. No, I'm not perfect by any means.
No,
but
I mean, you've had a good life. You haven't made mistakes. You don't have divorce. You don't have bastard children.
But here's I'll tell you a quick story about a book. One of my goals in all this stuff was to be able to go and read in children's hospitals, because I seen Johnny Depp do that stuff, and I understand that that's for the movies and for cameras and this and that. And I also inherently wanted to learn about publishing. You know, I know a lot about movies, but I can't talk about books. But I wanted to learn these different things to expand some things that I already know. Okay, I want to learn more about intellectual property, more about agents within literary agents. So I got to go through the process. I'm one of these kind of people that I can't listen. I got to go through it. Okay. So one of my goals was to get into children's hospitals and read to children, help children, do those kind of things. But that's not going to happen because of, C, and they don't want people in the hospitals that, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't want to get into it because of diseases and things that are out there and, yada, yada. So that's not currently happening, at least in Los Angeles. But I have been able to give away things and do giveaways and have some type of appearances and this and that, not being there in person. But for somebody to go out there and to try to make a Twitter handle, and I don't know if that existed beforehand with hardcore gay porn on it, to call people P's and this and that, there's nothing you can do to convince me that these people are good people or will ever be good people. Sooner or later, they will give up on what they're trying to do. And even if I stop doing YouTube today, I will still continue in this industry. I will still continue. It just because I'm not on this single platform doesn't mean that I'm not going to sell a show to myself to Paramount Plus tomorrow. Okay? So that's fine. These guys have failed in everything else they have done, including the worst of all. And I have not attempted, so no at bat, no problem for me. They failed at being parents. Both of them.
Right.
And that's documented. That's not made up. That's documented.
You don't think every day that they kick themselves in the nuts for fucking up?
I don't give a fuck. It's not my problem.
No, do you?
Well,
do you?
In my opinion, I think that's why they're deflecting on others.
I think that's why they have substance abuse and alcohol problems.
Well,
you
know what?
I'm not saying it's the right way, X. I'm not saying that that's an excuse. I'm just saying, I guarantee you, they're just lost themselves in their guilt, and that's where they are today. And now it's just becoming pure evil, And it's. I don't like to give up on people. I like to try to see good, in people. But it's just I can't find it in Doug, and Salty's dark too. But I just hope to God. I mean,
listen
I don't like
to
them.
what
They're
those
horrible
grandparents
people.
said, Kelly. If you
horrible.
can't listen to, don't forget about my what I say, this and that. Those grandparents were saying a lot worse things, and they know him in person. And the only other person that we know that knows him in person is Danielle. I'm sure Danielle doesn't have a perfect background or whatever, but the fact of the matter is what Doug did to her and her child, and what he did to these think about that. A grandparent is saying that about this man, a 44-year-old man who lives in the bad part of town. Let's I know a lot more about Los Angeles than you guys do. Okay. Woodland Hills in the west part of the valley where Panavision is not a bad part of town. Canoga Park and those areas up there are shit areas. Their family lived in Thousand Oaks, which is even more west of there. That is a nice area. That's Ventura County. Okay. He lives in Canoga Park because that's where the losers go. He's close enough to be at home or near home, but not really being at home. Okay. There's a reason that he lives by a Jack in the Box and I live by the beach. It's the quality of the character. And he could go and talk about whatever he wants behind a blue mask. And besides, I was doing the mask and I was doing this and the gimmicks and all that kind of stuff 6 months ago before you guys ever even thought about any of that shit. I did it first. He could do whatever he wants. But the fact of the matter is, at some point, if there's a process server, which there won't be, but let's just say if there was a court case, you're going to have to prove it. And I can prove you are a piece of shit, sir. And you're a coward too. And you know what else I can prove? Via deposition, via people who know you in person. And this one you can't get away from because you can't grow this. Your dick is itty bitty like that. My dick, I guarantee it, I'll put that $10,000 up against you, is bigger soft than yours is hard. And you might not like to hear that because he's always good talking about dicks. But the fact of the matter is, Danielle said it. And I believe it to be true. You're a coward, and you can't look in the mirror.
Yeah, I do. He's given up.
And you want to post pictures of people being interviewed? The guy that you're posting in that interview, you know why that guy was being interviewed at that industry convention that was at the Los Angeles Convention Center? You want to know what that guy? Because that guy was in that film festival 3 fucking times, asshole.
That's awesome.
3 times.
Do you ever come to Sundance, X? Do you ever come to Sundance?
No, that's a very, very high level. It's very corporate. I have to admit that is much higher than the level that I'm at. I have never been to it. I would only go to it if I had something to sell or something to be in it.
It's the hoity-toity kind, huh? The very
well. I mean, I don't want to sound like the guys that I'm complaining about to say if the coach wasn't this, but if you see those films back in the day, like 20 plus years ago, we would submit and pay the $50 and it's like a lottery ticket. Like, maybe I can get into, to Rain Dance, Sundance, Trauma Dance, or any of those just to be in that world of Park City when that's going on. But the fact of the matter is it's very corporate. You have to have certain level of names. Sure, it's possible to get in. But in fact, I've talked about this before with working with the guys who did the Blair Witch Project, Eduardo Sanchez. This is documented. It's out there. I worked with them in 2003. They had a very high-level agent when they did the Blair Witch Project in the late 1990s that helped get them in there. And there was a lot of money to be made. They made $3 million each. So this is one of the highest-level film festivals. At this point in my career or life or whatever you want to call it, it is above what I have done. So I would not go there to walk around and be a dickhead or to be a looky-loo for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go to Japan if I have a reason to sell a film over there, but I'm not going to go over there to try to fit in or to go to Sundance. I don't think I've also, this is probably it is documented. I have written articles about why film festivals are a waste of time. It's documented. You could read it. They're out there. There's an article out there called The 4 Ps of Film Festivals. Somebody probably wrote it. That sounds a lot like me. And in those 4 Ps of film festivals, Sundance does not fit in except for what I consider prestige. And it's very hard to get into a prestigious film festival without names, sponsorships, and money. It's not likely. So would I go to it? Sure. But like, what do I have going on there? Unless I'm in a film that's there or have a film that's there, I would not go.
You can't schmooze and make contacts, network, nothing like that.
You could always meet people, but there's like, here's a perfect example of something. You bring up a great question. I can do that at the American Film Market in Santa Monica in early November. Why would I go to some place that's really expensive and freezing cold? So in early November, late October, there's the American Film Market at the Lowe's Hotel. It's right by the Santa Monica Pier. And this is for independent films or large independents, as we would call them, like studio independents. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, that sell films to international buyers. Okay, they're all there at the L'Amerigo and Lowe's, which are right next to each other, the 2 hotels. And that film market is where you meet distributors, international sales agents, and sure, you could do that. But here's what this is what, let me explain to you what you're asking. Imagine Sundance being a flea market, okay? It's like a flea market, and there's buyers and sellers. There's people that are going there to either buy a movie or they're showing a movie to sell it. Now, I'm going to go there to schmooze. I'm going to go there and I'm going to sell my product, but I really don't belong there. And I don't have the prestige of being in that film festival. They don't take you seriously. In fact, it could work against you.
Right.
Like, who the fuck are you? So yeah, could you rub the right elbows and get lucky and maybe be in the right place at the right time? Sure.
Rolling
But
the
they're
dice,
there
though.
to do business. They're not there
Right.
to hear about a $500,000 film with vampires in it. They want they want the rights to the whale that has, you know, the big names in it, but the money, there wasn't much money spent on. They want to land that film because that's going to garner them the most money. So I would be
Wow.
wasting. So now you look at it like, I go back to the flea market analogy. A flea market person is going to sell something and have the ability to make a lot of money to somebody. Let's just sell, they say it's a golfing store and they're going to sell 10,000 golf balls to one buyer. And I walk in and say, you know what? I got 50 golf balls that I could sell you. They're going to say, get the fuck out of here. I'm about to make a big sale. Get lost. Hey, that's that guy that almost ruined that sale. That guy's a fucking asshole. So there's a time and place for
Oh,
everything. But
right.
why would I go there when the American Film Market, and that's in January, when the American Film Market's right here in my backyard in January, and it's the right place for me to be?
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't know that that's what it was all about at Sundance. You know, I thought that people, because I have a girlfriend that goes down there that acts, and she goes in down there every year. And I just
Is she
didn't know
younger?
it was like, yeah, she's my age. Well, much younger. I'm 44.
Is she in the Screen Actors Guild?
I don't know about all that, but her name is Sana Foley.
I don't know.
Yeah, but she goes up there every year. But I went to high school with her, and she's become pretty big. For
I'm watching
over-
the chat, by the way. And I
Yes,
think that there are some things to be said. You know, you get seen by the right director. You know, we talk about hustling all the time. I'm talking as a producer who's bringing a film there. You're talking about it as an actor. So if you meet somebody at the right time, sure, anything's possible. But that's the reason why I haven't done it. You know what I mean? And no, it's not all about me. She asked me a question. I gave her an answer. Chat, I'm reading you. I see you. I'm watching. I try to include Betty Hayward in this conversation too. It's not about
let me
me.
see if I can say this right. Queen of Osea, or what is it? Was that how it was pronounced, X?
Ocean.
Ocean. She wants a number to come up to call.
I've got her email if she wants to panel up. There's not a number to call. Unless we unleash the worm line.
No, not with those haters out there. I'm not going to have them call me like they called Johnny
Queen
and
of
bug me.
Osea. I am the one who was out there camping when Dylan went missing.
Yeah. And if people are asking me questions about something, chat, you know, like I thought it was just going to be me and Miss T. I didn't know anybody else was going to be on here. I could take off or I could stay here all night. But if I know something about this industry and I know something about YouTube, I know something about that goes on, and I know something about degenerates, I'm going to answer the question. You know what I mean? And I
You're
can't
full
give
of
you a
shit
short
info.
answer either because it's not that kind of story.
I
Just
the
like
stories.
Jim knows a lot about what he does, I know a lot about what I do.
Yes.
Do that with a
And-
cell phone, sleeper cell. I'm still waiting. It's never happened. No, you're better off taking videos of your raccoon's nest outside that track home you live in.
Let's see. I gotta get back to chat over here. Read above. Wait.
Kathy and
Yeah,
Axel, by the way, I just wanted to mention that you and Kelly here that are on panel, I'm going to be mailing all that out to you guys, to you two, on Thursday. So I haven't forgot about you, but there's going to be one mass mailing that's going to go out on Thursday. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, X. Oh, and yes,
no problem.
Queen, you are right. That is true. I did say that. Why do you ask?
And I heard an interesting thing the other day by that degenerate bandit. And he goes through and he reads an entire bio that's on IMDb. Okay.
Okay.
And he said something that was very flattering about me. He says, that Mr. X guy is the entire brains behind Jim Terry TV, and Jim's an idiot, or something to that effect. And as much as I would like to take the credit for that, that's actually not true. I'm
guys
really
both
good
are.
at one thing. Jim's
he's
really
good
good
at
at
the other.
something. Miss T taught us all about this kind of stuff. So yes, I'm really good at one part of it. but Jim's really good at another part of it. Here's an
It takes
example.
you both. It takes you both for sure.
That's right. Jim's crazy enough and over the top enough to draw you guys in and keep you interested. He's a great salesman, but somebody's got to make the car. You know what I mean? So it's not just me. You got to have a salesman at the end of the line or at the beginning of the line or wherever he's at who can pitch things and who can make you entertained. Jim can carry it on his own. It's very hard to do. And he's able to
Yeah.
include people. So as much as I would like to say it's all me, it is not. Miss T, Betty Hayward. That's why, this is why I don't think Salty and them can be successful, or a guy like Doug, is Jim is a team player. Jim's been on teams all his life, just like I have. A movie is an ultimate team sport. It requires a team to do this. Now, we didn't think that we were going to have Betty Hayward do what she's done, but she liked us enough and she had a good enough time with that. Really helps. You know what I
It
mean?
was amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, we had all these things that came together that are just pieces of the puzzle that built what Jim Terry is, and we're able to entertain you guys. And a lot of that's Miss T, too.
We got Sleeper Cell in here saying LOL from a pred.
Well, he's a guy who's got arrests in his life. He's a guy
Wait.
who's been proven wrong.
X.
He's a guy who's like, these Pinellas County people are going to be in jail. Jim Terry from Jim Terry Music, he's got these. This guy knows nothing. Everything he's done, he's failed at. So I'm an elder in YouTube, and now this guy is back. He's going to probably talk about us in a few weeks because I just talked about him. But this guy is he's back. By the way, if you knew his address like I did, you could see outside of his house, he's shooting on an iPhone of the Google Place going by because he's so afraid. But now I can verify that because he does a raccoon thing where he does a live. This elder guy who knows everything about YouTube's got 3 people watching him. 3 people. Johnny Yarborough, who's a guy who's had his struggles, comes out and is doing way better than this elder. This guy can't even swat somebody correctly. But
He's
yet
not a
there's
pred.
always this conspiracy. Jim Terry Music. You know, he's friends with the sheriffs. Get the fuck out of here. There's a reason, sir, why people like you live in Oklahoma. That's why you live in Oklahoma on an Indian reservation. There's a reason.
Is he native? He's native, huh?
I don't know. I think so. He looks like a half retard to me. There's a reason why people like Doug Hutton can't make it in the film industry. You want to make an opening like Mr. X with a cell phone? Do it. You want to play in pros? You want to run a mile? You want to do things? I could do this. I could do this. Do it. You can't. You can't even get off the reservation. You're a
Hey,
fucking coward.
You know, the reservation's no fucking joke place. I'll tell you that much. That they don't fuck around at the res. Like, people get killed, and there ain't shit the cops can do about it. It's dangerous living on the res. My husband's native, and so I know all about that shit. It's no fucking joke. I would never visit there. But
Well, we're talking about a place that's in the middle of the United States that nobody gives a fuck about. That's, you know, if you happen to be Native American and, you know, people who are, that's great. But having that, whatever that is, you can get a house for like $60,000, $70,000. And these are people that are out there that are still getting arrested, still fucking up, still losers. But they're an elder in the YouTube community. Really, bud? Have you ever made or done what I did in the last month on YouTube? I don't think so. I've never seen it. Have fun on Bumble or wherever the fuck you are doing it and wishing and watching me and wishing you could be me or Jim Terry. You could post whatever you want. You could go hang out with your Salty Pancakes, your Candace Howard people. Those people, like you, sir, are losers. And even, you know what? The easiest thing to get views for are cute cats, cute animals. You're even a failure at that. Everybody likes animals.
come on, baby.
You're so low on the totem pole, you can't even do that correctly. And your hate Reddits, nobody goes to them anymore. Nobody cares.
There is something about Queen. So yes, I did reach out to Candace over the Facebook post thing or whatever a couple of
Candace
times
who?
to try Candace Cooley, or Dylan's mom. Is that her name?
Okay.
Candace Cooley.
Yeah.
a couple times way back in the beginning when all that shit went down, and she was a fucking bitch both times I talked to her, and she was ignorant and was just really standoffish and didn't want to hear a
I never
fucking
knew
word I
this
had to
about you.
say.
What?
Yeah,
So
she,
how did the phone call? I mean, I've never heard this story. How did the phone call? You call her up? You called her cold or what?
well, I was on Messenger. I messaged her and I said, hey,
Okay.
I was out there the weekend that your son come up missing, and I'd seen some things, and I told her I even found like last time we went when I was getting followed around by those fucking brothers that are out of their minds. I can't remember their names again. But like we went out to Grouse Creek camping months later, and I was getting followed around by some weird fuckers from Montello out there. They were stalking our campgrounds, and
You
I
were
ran
the lady
into
who did the cigarette thing, right? That was you.
yeah. And I
Because there's
ran
so many
into
stories. I'm trying to. I mean, it's been so long. So you were
yeah.
out there. Okay, I remember that.
So and then I ran into one of Dylan's friends while I was out there. His name's Mark, and
Okay.
he talked to me. He's the one that told me so much about what Dylan's life really was and how it was and how he hated his parents. Like they did not get along. And I think my heart goes out to Candace as far as her probably having guilt because the relationship wasn't all that. And now he's gone and she's just trying to make amends with herself, I think, now, because she's probably thinking, oh, I should have, I could have, I wish I would have, you know, because he just didn't really, Mark said they did not get along. Like he didn't talk about his parents, but when he did, it was never anything good. He just couldn't stand them. And he told me that that Dylan was just not like socially, I mean, a little socially awkward, but just he was cool. Like, I mean, they were going to work together, and then Mark's truck broke down. He didn't get to do it. But while we were out there was two separate things that we come across in two separate areas out at Grouse Creek where there was a jacket. Just, I sent pictures to Doug even back then, like on a post. It was so fucking random. And then there was a dead cow up somewhere else with like a rodeo jacket, like somebody who rodeoed like in a club. Jacket was up there laying down there in the pile with the cows, like of bones and shit. So I had reached out to Candace telling her, you know, hey, I just wanted to let you know I was out there. I just wanted to tell you what I had seen. And I didn't tell her that part because by that time she had already like blocked me or something. But she has been so close-minded and has made the whole thing more impossible because she's not open to anything that is given to her. She's like, this is facts.
Let me ask you this.
There's more to it. Yeah.
So let's just break this down. So like, I understand a bit of the story. Number one, have you ever told Jim this story? I mean, I know the Lucy cigarettes and you being out there. I know that story. I remember that. So the IM messages over Facebook, I've not ever heard. Have you ever told that story to Jim?
No.
Or me?
No, I haven't.
Here's my next question.
Yeah.
Do you have that IM? Can you read that IM to us? I mean, could you read the conversation to us back and forth?
Yeah, let me get in here.
Because that would be the best thing. Like, I would love to know the date and what was said because, and Jim would be better to ask you questions about this because the Dylan Rounds thing, although I know a little bit about it and probably Miss T knows more, it's not really my thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I would love to have Jim up here to ask you because it's just not something that, you know, I know enough about to ask questions.
Like
Jim was actually physically involved in it.
Yeah, she was just so close-minded about everything and thoughts and things, and she just wouldn't listen to anything anybody had to say. And I didn't even say, hey, this is like, I just wanted to let you know what I was out there this weekend or that happened. And she just like totally shut me down. I made a
I would love to hear like the conversation.
They totally blocked it and wouldn't even post it. I'm trying to find it right now.
Like if you went back and said, okay, on August 4th, I said this, and then she responded 10 minutes later or 3 days later, or she, and then she like exactly what the conversation was back and forth, because it would show her intent at the time, whatever it is. Because I have people, I've heard Lady Luck on the other channel saying stuff like, when I called Shaq Lady a cunt, like, oh, he's really a bad guy. I would, Lady Luck's, she's welcome to do this. Or Diva Plus. Post any of my response emails, even when they were mean to me. Ask Miss T or Betty Hayward what I'm like. Miss T has phone calls and recorded of everything of me off there.
Or something. I can't even find her now. Yeah, I
Ask
can't even
them
find
what
it.
I'm like off air. Am I an asshole to any of these ladies? I mean, Miss T, if you have everything recorded of me that you and I ever spoke about, like you were talking about at the top of the show, which is fine. I got nothing to hide. I never said anything bad to her. You know what I mean? Like, I know
Yeah.
that no matter what I've said to Miss T, there's nothing I'm worried about.
No, it's
Oh,
more of
yeah.
me snapping back if I didn't agree with something.
But have I ever
Yeah.
done that to you in any way?
No.
And I've only talked to Betty Hayward like a handful of times on the phone, off air. But here's the thing. I would like to see what she's like. I'm talking about Candace Cooley.
She
When
was a
it's,
complete bitch. Like she
Yeah,
was
exactly.
a complete fucking closed off bitch.
I'm
Like,
way
she would
meaner
not-
on here than I am in real life.
She
I'm not
wouldn't
that
even
mean.
listen to me. She wouldn't post any of the questions. I wrote a question on the Dylan page or whatever, and they have to approve it before they let it post. And
Yeah.
I had just commented, hey, I was there that weekend. They like said, your shit's not going up here. It's not allowed. And then she texts me. She says, we're not up there. I'm like, I'm just letting you know. Like, she was a complete bitch. Like, and so close-minded, didn't want to hear a fucking word I had to say about any of what had happened.
Now,
And-
doesn't that sound like what Jim would say about her taking over, wanting to take
Oh,
over things? I
exactly.
mean, doesn't
They-
that run?
they
I mean,
nailed
I'm
it.
not telling you to say these things. You're just saying them on your own.
The family nailed it. She did exactly what the family said that she would do, is exactly what happened, because he would not, I mean, she wouldn't listen to a fucking word I had to say, wouldn't let my posts come up on the page, and they weren't inappropriate on any scale. They were just, hey, I was just letting you know I was there. Did Dylan happen to have a rodeo jacket by chance? And she just, like, it is not approved. It will not be posted. And just,
Well,
she just was a bitch.
As close as she was and involved in his life, she probably didn't have an answer.
Exactly. That's what it must be. Cause she's been so close-minded that, and I think she has totally stopped the investigation from happening in other directions, like where it should be going, because she just won't allow it. Like,
And we
I
were
see
talking
why the
earlier,
police
Kelly,
officers yeah.
about people who are like, or maybe I was, about people who are failures at parents. And, you know, if she was a good parent, and I'm just riffing, I don't know. I mean, everything I have heard and from the people in the chat and who are parents, it doesn't sound like she was. But imagine being a bad parent. And I don't know if she was. I'm just asking. Imagine if a person was a bad parent and then they lost their kid. And then you have somebody like Jim Terry who talks what he talks. You know what I mean? And her own family not trusting her, even though they're by adoption via the husband, yada, yada. That happens.
Thank you, Melissa.
It's got to irk somebody like her to that extent, because she's the bad parent, at least from where I'm sitting. It's just an opinion, that lost her kid, and now she's trying to reel it in. Now she's trying to make up for it.
I even have pictures still. Like,
I wish
of
you
the
had that
stuff we
conversation.
found. I wish I could
Well,
find that
thank you,
conversation
Sleeper
too.
Cell, for streaming me on Twitch. Porn fuck. What are some of the other words that are bad for Twitch? Where's Robbie when I need him? Because there's a lot of opposites. on
Sleeper
Twitch.
Cell, these are getting mailed out today, by the way. Jim Terry TV. I would love you, elder, sir. You're an elder, for you to make an opening and to do as well as we did. It's actually right there, too.
Please,
Sorry,
please
Sleeper
hold
Cell. You're
chat
so
for a brief
irrelevant that you
moment.
didn't make the graveyard.
X, give me one moment, please.
Oh shit! Sorry, come on, baby. Sorry, hey, little punk, kitty, 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 kitty. Come on.
All right. Sleeper Cell, I'm talking to you. I do not engage with you. I let you chat. I let you talk. I let you say your defamatory things. But you, being a nuisance, that's what you want. Attention. And I'm giving it to you. I'm sorry you're so upset about all of the trauma you had growing up and the experiences of being treated wrong. But that does not give you the right to harass anybody who never threw one punch to you. I don't think the capital of the BIA would approve of it either. Of your actions, your words, your threats, you being a YouTuber. But you're only in it just to be a YouTuber, correct? Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to do it, I would like to highlight his channel, The Mission Kitchen, who shares all of the Takedown Terry pages. So let's see what side you play on, Sleeper. You can hate whoever you want, but here's another answer of who you go after when nobody's bit at you. But trust me, your time is done of the harassment and nuisance. Go after something that actually matters, something that you can actually make a change in, not being a nuisance. You think I give two shits if you're in my chat? Or you talk, or you constantly comment on my page? You're welcome. I just look and keep scrolling. But obviously, I have absorbed free rent in your brain. And that free rent does not last long with libel, defamation, questioning if I'm BRCA positive and questioning me what the fuck BRCA positive is and if I had triple negative cancer. Nobody, especially when I post all of those graphic photos in one of my very first videos of my whole journey while I was pregnant with twins. You, sir, have no right to sit there and claim you're a know-it-all and you study genetics and genes and biology and chemistry and microbiology. You're such a wizard. But yet you will not let me bring up one genetic counselor who actually has a PhD in it, who knows what they're talking about. You, sir, need to find a life and maybe another contact to harass, or from all of the mistreatment you've had growing up and rough life, maybe you could go another direction and actually be a positive ripple and change somebody's life instead of being a harassing nuisance who everybody thinks is a psychopath because of your actions. You can change that, but it takes you. So keep trying. I'm not going to bite. This is my one response to you. I responded in the chat. That's what you wanted, my attention, right? Sleeper, I'm talking to you. Michael, Jean, Eugene, Riley. I don't think the tribal council that's right around the corner from your home would appreciate the threats, the slander, the libel that you, sir, have taken towards many people just because you don't like exactly what they say or how they deliver it. Besides promoting Takedown Terry, you, sir, maybe you should go see a therapist and hurt your childhood issues. I did. And I chose to make a ripple and to help people. You will not be blocked in my chat, nor will your messages be deleted. I let you talk because in the long run, it just shows the subs who you are, how you are, and who you harass. So tread carefully, because you could be using your anger towards something on change, not being a dick. Sorry, chat. We'll get back.
I love the guys who are the brain surgeons to the physicists and all this stuff that live on a fucking Indian reservation in Oklahoma. Get a life. Yeah. This is at least Doug is like, I mean, I guess he was born in Los Angeles or somewhere around here, and Salty's in a nice, like part of Salt Lake City. This guy's in Oklahoma on an Indian reservation. You know what I mean? living with a boyfriend, swatting people, being a loser, and hating the world because he's never accomplished anything. This guy has got like maybe
So
7 or 8
somebody
people to
timed.
watch him.
You know, I like to screenshot and screen record everything, right, Mr. X?
Sure.
Even when you delete lives, I have the whole fucking thing screen recorded, right?
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Just like when FaceTime and your eyes go cross-eyed and they go both ways because I know you're listening and you're already tagging me. So you're already a lying bitch. I'm already been timed out, liar.
Who's that?
And you brought my name up in your chat first tonight, bitch.
Who's the bitch?
Listen here, motherfucker. You'll see a real bitch if you want one. And I don't think you'll like that because I have the whole handbook of the BIA out of the Okmulgee, Oklahoma Tribal Court.
There is the reason he goes by Mission Kitchen is there's 2 streets over him from him is Mission Lane. And there actually I talked to there is if I'm not mistaken it was a Baptist church. I talked to them and I found out some more information about him. And you know, this is your channel. I'm not going to get into it, but the guy's a fucking degenerate. I mean, it's very obvious who he is and what he is. And you know, government assistance, living off of my tax dollars. Guy's a piece of shit.
No, he doesn't. He lives on a fucking reservation. So he's living off the reservation. And also, you know what, Sleeper? Take my serious advice in getting a therapist and getting some serious help and getting off the internet because you're nothing but a respectful gentleman by that. And I love it so much. So thank you so much for the compliment. I very much appreciate being called a bitch because that's the biggest compliment I could ever have. Because you know what? How can that affect me? I don't care.
You know what does affect you, Miss T? Is these guys, first of all, thanks to everybody here who loves Miss T. That's number one. But all you haters who are here, thank you for pushing Miss T over the top to monetization. Something Sleeper Cell doesn't have, by the way. So even the haters who are joining in, thank you. Now Miss T is monetized. She's already got the 1,000 subs. Your hate pushed her over the hours she needed. Thank you.
And Sleeper Cell, you know, I think I need a little cleansing from some negative Native American.
Not really.
Which my ancestors are too.
Walked over the land bridge. Really not from here, but I mean, nobody's from here, really.
I'll be cleansing to purge your evil ass for karma. I won't do shit to you. But everybody else will see it. Trust me. Fuck with me and find out.
Miss T, I can't wait till when we start talking about the super stickers, the super chats coming in. Johnny Sloth gets them. You get them.
Oh, speaking of which, we're going to highlight this instead of this motherfucker who keeps tagging me. And as I sage, I am actually going to thank Ange for a PayPal. I am also going to thank Tainted Ink. Girl, I got your back. Hit me up. And Cut and Shoot. Thank you so much. And we will be highlighting. I'm going to be interviewing and talking to Cut and Shoot soon. Because there's a lot of misconceptions and prejudgments on some of the situations towards situations like tonight's conversation.
Well, hopefully she'll finally come out of her shell and explain, for lack of a better term, why she jumped ship from Salty and what happened, but she never wanted to talk about that subject. I mean,
that was handled publicly. I don't know why that should be even a question. That was just handled publicly. To be honest,
when she was doxxed, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Doxxed and then harassed.
But why wouldn't she come out and say, hey, listen, this is what, and why would she lie about, I mean, you're going to ask her the questions when she talked about, you know, going after these people. And now all of a sudden she said she's not. Something to that effect. I don't know.
You know what? You know how I talk about mental health, Mr. X?
Yes.
And I talk to her very often where there is mental health. But when you lose, kind of like how I did, a big portion of your support system, and you have mental health issues and you can keep it together for so long and you're only human. So she's human.
And real
And
quick, just respond to an
people
Arizona
forget that.
traveler. I'm sorry, Misty. Go ahead.
She's human, and people seem to forget that because that was the cherry on the top for all of the real life bullshit she was going through.
Yeah.
So the only ones I should be able to give her a platform to speak her piece and let her say what's needed.
Yeah, I mean, unlike
ahead.
a lot of other people, that's something Jim and I are always advocates of. And I gain a lot of respect for Nicolina 777, regardless if you like the drama community stuff or not.
Yes,
Just
we do.
having an opportunity to speak and having the other side heard, especially when it's a recorded conversation. I would love to hear her on this channel. I'm talking about Cut and Shoot, have an opportunity to speak, not under the guise of salty, I won't be here, Jim won't be here. And you guys can have a conversation on your channel, on your time, when you're monetized, about what kind of a piece of shit Salty is. But I have a feeling, similar to Shack Lady, they won't say much. You won't get much out of them. But at least it'll be on your time.
Yeah, and it will be somewhere where we can talk. She can speak her piece. Maybe all the questions will be answered. And it will be in a controlled environment to where it is also safe.
Yeah. Well, I've never really had a bad word with her. I don't support anybody like Jim that's going to call me a P. By the way, if somebody's a P,
Well,
they'd be on a
also,
registry. I mean,
it doesn't mean that. Well, here's another fact, and I don't know if she'll be mad at me for saying this, but I have heard that depending on where certain people who have cut ties with him go, they will in return attack those creators. Kind of like anybody that is with you. They will in turn attack those creators. That is harassment, defamation, libel, whichever way you want to put it.
we're not asking her to attack anybody. We just want an honest story.
No. So say she's an example.
Okay.
Say if she came on my panel, I would be a target. Say she went on Bullhorns. Bullhorn would be a target.
Right.
Those threats of certain people not speaking up is why. Because they do not want anybody else to be a target.
Arizona Traveler, just to respond to that email real quick, the best thing to do, and because I don't know when I'll respond to you on this, but if you're listening, acquisitions. That's it. Those are the only people I look to talk to. Don't need to talk to anybody who's in a rock band. Don't need to talk to anybody this and that. And I could figure out who the acquisitions person is there. I have IMDb Pro too. You know what I mean? Also, but sometimes it's better to be introduced to something. That's where I agree with Kelly. If you meet somebody at a Sundance, that's a lot better than calling them cold. But an introduction to an acquisitions person is something I'm always for. So for a company like an OR, probably a little bit higher budget than what some of the stuff I'm dealing with. But hey, it's nice to know people. That's all I'll say.
And I have one last message for Mr. Sleeper.
I don't even see him posting anything.
Who doesn't know about, think I don't know about Sleeper Cell, but that's in my genetics, motherfucker. I'm on here supporting pedophiles.
Where do you see this at?
Fuck the straight fuck off. I grew up around them. I will not be a part or near one. So you better get your facts straight because I'm screenshotting all of these messages.
Where are you seeing this at?
He's tagging me.
Oh, okay.
But you know what?
My AirPods. Sorry.
You're not always safe.
Ooh. Well, here's the thing. I know what I am, Miss T, and you could probably do enough research to figure out who I am and what I am. You know, I mean, through Jim, what it is, and you know Jim and I. Yeah, that would be really stupid of you to have a P on here. So the only person who has been arrested and had some problems with the law is, there's actually 3 of them. We know Salty Pancakes, we know Doug, and we know Sleeper Cell. They've all been arrested for different things. I have not. So I think in order to be a P, you probably got to be arrested for it and this and that. I've never had anything more than a speeding ticket. It's so stupid that I keep having to say this over and over again. But, hey, just come with proof, or, go down and sell like cigarettes at the Indian store or something. I don't know. Do whatever you guys do over there. I mean, there's a casino like right down the road from you. I mean, if you want to do anything, go take the over the 49 and the Super Bowl. That'd probably be the best bet.
So, thank you, Ange. Thank you, Dana Nicole. I forgot to mention it.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad. I mean, hey, Miss T, do you like them restreaming you? I mean, like people, there's more people. I mean, he probably doesn't have many people watching him, but that's great.
Listen,
hey, we're
here. He's got a quarter of what's watching me subbed to him. So have at it. Have fun. And fuck off, Sleeper Cell.
Miss T.
Yes.
Miss T. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, because I just changed ear things. So we're going to start calling you Miss T for Miss Thug.
Miss Thug in the house.
Yeah.
And this is after my nighttime meds have kicked in.
By the way, Cape Hog, buy the 1.5, take it down to 49,
Hey, Robbie?
and then you can take it over.
Robbie just came in the chat. What can I not say in Twitch right now? Type in some words that I cannot say in Twitch, please.
X, you need to be a commentator. That was perfect.
He's a good hype man.
Yeah.
Taking a 49.5, taking on down court.
Sold.
That's great.
But in hindsight, I could really give a rat's ass about him. And what's funny is he's just gonna, I'm holding up Brent in his mind now, and he'll just be tagging me. And honestly, I don't care. I really don't care. You're a fucking finger puppet who sits behind a computer and types and doesn't leave the reservation.
Right. Oh,
That's all
he
you're gonna
would
do.
he would not leave the reservation. If that guy met me, this is a guy who's so scared of his shadow that you could see this. I mean, this isn't something that I'm making up. You can see him if you had his address. And I'm not going to give out his address, but you guys could probably, a lot of you guys are really smart. You could figure it out. But if you had his address on the Indian reservation, and I think this was about like in 2018 on the Google Maps, he's standing if you're standing in front of his house, it'd be to the left of it. He's got a white cell phone covering in front of his face, and you could see it tracking down the road. Because you know how you can take steps down a road? This guy is filming the Google car or whatever it's called that maps out everything. And you could tell he's scared. And then the reason I know this is if you get far enough away, like you're down the street and you look back at him, you could see that it's him. You could see that he's worried. Now, there's Google. Go ahead.
Gay? You can't say gay? I can't say that word. Any other better words? We're not
R-word?
drinking tonight. Retard? I don't like that word, and I never use it, as obvious. But enjoy your stream, Sleeper.
Well, it's never fun to make fun of somebody that is mentally retarded, but this guy is a retard. So we can say that very safely. This man goes on the internet and is claiming that he's an elder and I've been around the YouTube community. There's a lot of people in filmmaking like this, Miss T. They're like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And they never do anything. When I did this, if you are an elder in this community, okay, and whatever this community is, I think everybody's by themselves, then wouldn't you already be monetized and be making money, not talking about us?
Well,
who gives a fuck about people?
Well, and this is where I'm going to drop it, because that's where I said, what did I say at X? Once he's in, I'm just going to ignore him like salty shit cakes. They come into chat, Let them say whatever they want, leave it, document it, and keep on going.
And K-Pog, I don't think he's an incel because I think you have to be straight to be an incel. I think this has been documented, and I'm not making fun of him. It just is what it is. This is a gay man. He lives with a boyfriend in a track house on an Indian reservation.
Saying it.
Yeah, he's a gay man who lives in a track home on an Indian reservation, who gets 2 or 3 people that watch him, who's scared of his shadow. He's been arrested for selling marijuana. Yes, it's legal now, but it wasn't when he wasn't. I mean, if you bootlegged alcohol when that wasn't legal, you committed a crime, even though it's not that big of a deal to drink a drink. I don't like it. But the guy committed crimes. He's been arrested. And the guy's a lowlife. He's tried to SWAT people. He's failed at that. And then he goes after what? The Pinellas County sheriffs? Yeah, how far did that take you, bud? Good luck on that. A fucking idiot this guy is.
Actually, I know Laughing Eyes, he is right next to the Capitol, and that is I'll find
Arizona Traveler. A track house is kind of like these pre-made houses that are given out to Native Americans on Indian reservations. Like you've seen the stuff in Katrina where they had the FEMA trailers. Okay. And that's just a trailer that they pull up for people. So what they have in the Indian reservation that he's on, and it's being posted in the chat. I don't need to say what it is. They have deals for Native Americans where they can get kind of these prefab houses. I call them track homes for a lack of a better term, but that they live in on a little plot of land, which is like basically weeds are around his house. And he's got some like she shed in the backyard. That's it. So it's like, I could buy that place if I was a Native American for what I got almost in my fucking wallet right now. They're like virtually worthless. It's on worthless land. I mean, figure it out. Oklahoma, it is what it is. It's not by the Pacific. Hey, you want to check out something? Check out Jim Terry TV 2. And you could check out the photos that I posted today. And that's at an area called Dockweiler Beach, right outside the area that's called the Jungle in Playa del Rey. And in that area, go ahead and look up on Redfin the prices of the houses in that area. Now, I live right around the area from that. There are no cheap areas around that area, okay? Go look up that area. Now go look up like Mustang, Oklahoma. You could like buy like half the town for what you could buy for like a shitty condo in this area is like $800. So I'm not worried about this guy. I'll never see him. He's just a nuisance online. He's a coward. That's it. Miss T, what are you looking at now?
I'm looking up what tribe it was. I forget.
Oh, somebody just posted in the chat. It's some rinky-dink tribe. They got a little casino there. Actually, the casino looks like it's actually a pretty decent one.
No, he actually is where all of the capital of all the tribes are for the tribal council meet. So it'd be like the Washington, D.C. of United States. He actually lives right around the corner from where all of the big wigs on the board, like what our Senate or Congress would be, lives. He lives right there. And I don't think they would appreciate a bad name.
Who knows if they do or they don't, but we're talking about a guy that's in a tiny, like what, 1-bedroom home. It's not like he's one of the elders there or running a casino or like, for example, I don't know if you ever seen, I've talked about that place it's on the outskirts of Los Angeles. We talk about Yamava, and then what's the other one? Starts with an M. Why am I keep thinking Mohegan Sun, but
Muskegee.
Morongo. Now, if you've ever been in Morongo, the casino out there, the Indian reservation out there, if you go back in the houses, it looks like a fucking pigsty in the back. But the people who are the elders who have the nicest house, who are involved with Morongo Casino, actually have nice houses. In fact, the people in Morongo get so much money, that's why this place looks like a pigsty, that when they have a car that breaks down, instead of getting it fixed, they got enough money just to go buy a new one. So they got a few, cars that are 10 years old or 5 years old and this and that. This guy doesn't have any of that. He's even low within that specific society. So like the guy who's cleaning the bathrooms at that local casino there is doing better than him. This guy's not a guy who's anybody to be respected. He's a pile of shit. And, his past has dictated what his future is going to be. Go and look at that Google Earth thing. This is from 2018. He's got a huge fat gut. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this guy isn't even in shape. Sorry, Queen. I started a rant.
Kelly, chat is asking for you to finish your conversation if you're able to about your interaction.
I'm just looking through my messenger messages to see, and I'm not freaking seeing it. I must have erased it. But what?
Fuck.
I mean, but check this out. I just thought about how I could go about getting it. You know how you go into your Facebook
Archives?
settings and see what the hell you've done that day or whatever. It tells you what you've done. Yeah, your
Audit log?
some shit, I guess. I don't know, but I figured if I could go in there, if I could remember what month it was that I reached out to her, and it'll show, you know, that I had spoke with her or whatever. But I could find it that way. It's going to take a little bit of time to do that, but
I mean, you don't have to do it on account of me, Kelly. I just said it
no,
because I thought it'd be
I
interesting.
would like to
but-
see it for a lot of reasons, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to prove anything to me. I mean, I just
oh, no,
I
no,
thought
no.
it'd be interesting.
I know that. Yeah, I don't know. I know what I experienced. So, and I do got those pictures. They did want to see the pictures. Let me look at the pictures. I can find the pictures of that coat that they were asking about. Oh, you know what was so weird about that too? I remember the jacket that we found hanging on the post, on the fence post. That one wasn't the
Marshmallow,
rodeo.
have fun at that and have a beautiful and blessed day. And don't delete anything. Mods, don't delete anything. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Kelly. But Marshmallow,
It's your show.
have a beautiful and blessed day. I rebuke any negativity in your life to only breed positivity and paying it forward in the name of Jesus Christ. I rebuke all evil from you. Go ahead, Kelly.
Okay. So, oh, I hate looking at pictures of animals that have passed.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh my God, it breaks your heart. So, the picture of the jacket that we seen that was on the post, not the rodeo one. My one of my cousins is the one who found the rodeo jacket with the bones and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The other jacket that we found, it was so weird because I was like trying to check the pockets, and it had a little like receipt or piece of paper in there that said, oh my God, what did it say? I'll send it to Doug too. It was somebody's name in chat, like it was something at Gmail. It was it was like their email, and I remember getting on Doug's chat going, was this your email? Like, because it's the same name, and I can't remember what it was. I'm hoping to God I took a picture of it or something to show what it said, because it was just really odd that somebody that was in Doug's chat during that whole time, and then I find this jacket on a post, and their name is like hooked to this email. Oh, you know what? Crime and Justice. Let me look at her messages way back then. I wonder if I still have them, because I sent them to her. Let's see if I still have them. I know. I hope to God I do. Because it was
Doug's in the chat.
odd.
Good.
Hi, Doug. Let's see.
We actually support gay LGBTQ community. We support all of that. Every race, every nationality, disabilities, it does not matter. We actually do support it. So I'm excited to see those pictures, Kelly.
Yeah, the thing is, I think Jim Terry TV has more LGBTQ people that have come on it than any other channel that I've ever seen. Even people who are gay who have their own channel. You know, different varieties of people, you know, people who are conservative, people who are liberals, adult stars. I mean, you name it. I mean, there's handicapped people, cerebral palsy. I mean, like, everybody's had an opportunity as long as they're interesting. You know, I support everybody.
Okay, so I'm showing a conversation. I'll just read it to you guys if you want me to. Okay, yep, I got a picture of the jacket. Okay, Night Stalker. The fucking name of that and that receipt of that jacket was Night Stalker. And he was in Doug's chat, I remember. How do I get these pictures up here, T? How should I send them over?
You got to send them to Miss T, and then she has the ability to the StreamYard to post them if she wants to.
Unless you're on a computer and you can share them.
Or
just text them to me and I can load them.
I'm just going to text them to you. And this one, let's see. This was after we fucked with it too. Like we'd already touched the jacket and stuff and like went through it, I think, maybe. Or no, that's how we found it.
I mean, it's interesting too, Kelly, that at least to me, that out of all the people that I've ever spoke to that have been in, like, you've actually physically been in Montello. You've been to Montello, and Shack Lady hasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Grouse Creek, everywhere. Like
So
that's
you've,
our stomping
I mean, of
ground.
all these
Yeah.
people who talk about it and who are true crimers, you're not a true crimer, but you've been in this town. I don't think I've heard anybody say that that's a normal place, or that's a place they would want. I'm not trying to beat it up, but like,
it is weird place. I'm not gonna lie. So I've got some texts like it was the Lee boys that were following us around. That's who it was. So, the Tom Hardy and Ty Corbin. Go figure. Let's see.
Anybody who's in my Discord, please go and report harassment because everybody has been posted and tagged under my name with as a member. Like I really have an active Discord anyways or any dirty information because there's not damn thing in there.
Okay, there's like I'm sorry, there is some text between me and Crime and Justice when I was over there at Doug's channel. Like I know you guys all hate on Crime Justice. I have nothing wrong with Crime and Justice. We've always been decent with each other. I whatever she's
well,
gone
she's a
through.
yes man for Doug. I don't have any respect
Well,
for her.
she needs to stand up for herself and be her own person. I get that, but I don't have a problem with Crime and Justice. We've always been sweet to each other. We have a compassion for animals and cats that we share, and we've sent pictures to one another. So, you guys have problems, that's fine, but I don't. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't like anybody who supports a person that says I'm a P and sits up on panel.
Okay.
And, so that's my problem with her. Who's gonna be like,
I
100%
see it.
You could tell a lot about a person's character by them missing fucking teeth. Yeah. She got a tattoo of Doug.
What?
That's all I need to say there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to her in like literally.
Might be a nice lady. Obviously not the best decision maker.
I haven't spoke with her probably for 8 months, maybe. Maybe longer. I don't even know honestly. But so this text is actually from September 3rd. So it says it says, hey, what were you guys saying? This is when we're at Grouse Creek camping, September 3rd. Hey, what were you guys saying about a white van? Because there is one that we have seen twice already this morning. Sketchy young and old people, two of them. She said there was a white van that was said to belong to Jim Brenner. It was parked at the grain shed property when Brenner went to jail. I said, was it a full-sized white van? She says, I think so. It might not belong to Brenner. He doesn't have any vehicle in his name. He just gets them cheap and drives them from what I can tell. I said, well, I'm in the middle of nowhere and it's the oddest thing to see so many people. We usually see no one out here. We were headed to the Grouse Creek store a little before 8 this morning and the van was coming our direction and had to pull over so we could pass, and the direction it came from is direction as of coming from Montello. And then it just drove past our camp a few minutes ago, a couple times now. Older guy, younger guy, sketchy looking. Oh, wow, I wonder who that could be, she said. I said, I don't know, but probably a van snatching people up, but I hope not. And she says, I hope not either, be safe. I said, found out they are the Lee brothers in the van. I found that out from that Mark dude that I had ran into that was Dylan's friend. I called him up because he was at the lake. He was at Etna, which is the lake out there, or Etna Reservoir. And I was like, do you know who the fuck drives it? And he goes, oh my God, those are the Lee brothers. They're like not good. And I was like, oh, well, that makes me feel good. I mean, we had a shit ton of people up there. There's probably 20 or 30 of us out there, but still, it was kind of sketchy in the middle of nowhere, And she says, oh, wow. He knows Paul and Anna, and the jockey, his name is Albert. So Mark had told me that he knew Paul and Anna, and that there's a jockey out there and his name was Albert, and he actually built Albert's shed. And then she says, the jockey's name is Albert. And I said, yes. She says, oh, okay, thanks for the info. I will see what I can find out about him. I said, the Lee brothers one is on parole for theft and is probably scoping out shit to steal from what I'm told. Wow, be careful out there. These people seem dangerous. I said, right. What do you know about the Lee brothers? She says, well, what Kurt has said, he claims they are part of the ones that killed Dylan. And I said, wow, what? But he's throwing a lot of names out there, so I don't know what to believe coming from him. I said, do you have any pics of the Lee brothers? No, I don't. I can figure out what their names actually are. I know one of them has a 15-year-old son, Robert and James. I said, okay, I will look into them. Thank you. Robert owns property in Wells. Okay, wish I could find a mugshot. I'm digging. She's looking. Midnight Ranch mean anything to you? James Lee works for them according to his Facebook. I said, not that I can think of. Does he have a pic? Then she sent me a pic. She said that's the only one she could find, and then she kept digging. I said, yep, I think that's him that we passed. Didn't make eye contact. They looked down. He's friends with Tom Hardy and Ty Corbin. Go figure, she said. I said, imagine that mother effins. Who is Hardy? She says, Hardy is the name Kurt mentioned early on, saying that Tom Hardy and 5 other people have taken people out to the desert to shake them down for money and rob them before. I said, holy shit, that's not good. So I wonder if our safety has been compromised here with a few, but I'm here with a few veterans, miniguns, and around 20 or 30 people. So I think I'll be good. I'm here with veterans, close to 20 people, and many combat veterans that have been trained to kill, including my husband at the top of that list. Several AR-15s. I think we should be good to go. She says, safety in numbers, but I wouldn't go off alone. I said, yeah, definitely not. Then she sent me another picture. She said, this is Robert Lee and James Lee. I said, good job. Also friends with Paul Toshak that Kurt has mentioned. I don't know who the fuck that is. And then all of these people you are mentioning has been connected to Kurt. I said, oh my God, oh wait, and then that was it for that. We were talking about her green screen after that and pictures. So that was it with the conversation.
So let me ask you this. You said you had Mark's phone number?
Yeah, Mark Dayton.
When's the last time you spoke to him?
That camp trip.
And he's the guy who was
after that camp trip. Yeah, he was a friend that was with Dylan. Yeah.
Did you ever talk to Jim about giving Jim that number or having Jim call him?
No. So I felt so bad because Doug had totally fucked me over on that whole thing with Mark. So I felt so bad because.
How did he fuck you over? How?
Okay, I'll read you the text. Okay. Because like I was telling Doug about this because I was out there and I was going on live with Doug because all the shit was unfolding out there in the middle of nowhere, right? And Mark was so cool, such a cool dude, like so cool. Just a hippie dude, had a dog, had his little S.
How old of a guy was he?
He was a little bit younger than me. He was the one that was involved in a shootout across the street.
Okay.
That night, he's the one that's there was a shootout across the street. Yeah, like the night before Dylan got killed, or the night of, or whatever. He was part of that. So
wow.
He texted me. He said, "Thanks again for the good conversation and good company. If you and your husband ever make it down to Montello, I'd be happy to put y'all up in a teepee." I said, "Hey, thank you. Great speaking with you. Do you happen to know of anyone that drives a big white van? We've seen it twice this morning. An older sketchy dude and younger guy." He said, "Was it a shaggy-haired kid?" I said, "I believe so." He goes, "Possibly the Lee brothers, Robert and James. Those two are no good whatsoever." I said, "Well, thanks for the tip. They were the ones that stole my solar panels and fucked up my Bobcat." I said, "Oh, wow. So you think they are scoping shit to steal or what? Are they dangerous?" "They're known to case places. He's on parole for theft." I said, "God, they need to get a job and buy their own shit, lazy fuckers. What a bunch of bitches." "Not dangerous, though." Or, I said, "That explains the van so they can load up shit." He says, "My buddy chased them off of his property and they called the cops." "Did cops do anything?" "Said he threatened them and the cops charged my buddy." I said, "What the fuck? There's some crooked ass shit right there. Law enforcement is definitely on someone's payroll." He said, "A few days later, I found half of my missing panels at Canada's place." Canada's that drug dealer chick out there.
Okay.
I said, "I recall you telling me that." He says, "It doesn't make any sense." I said, "Nothing out there does. The way people end up missing and nothing is ever done about it, the way cops don't ever do anything, definitely on a payroll, just no clue whose." he said there are some strange politics involved. This is an autonomous place. People call the fire department for most things. I said, hey, do you know a Paul or Anna or Kevin Bobbins? Cops aren't really supposed to come around here. I said, yeah, that's weird. It's in itself, or Kevin Bibbins or whatever. He says, I know Paul and Anna, and I know Albert the horse jockey. I built his shed. Not sure if I know Kevin. Are they all good people? I enjoy them. I said, what's that mean? That I don't know them really well, but I've enjoyed every interaction I've had so far. I said, nice. I didn't know if it was a swinger thing, like you enjoy them. Well, because he was like, I enjoy them. He says, haha, are they swingers? I said, I have no idea. And then, yeah, I said, so Kurt has been throwing names out, of course, and he has also said he thinks the Lee brothers are part of the ones that killed Dylan. Any thoughts? I have no clue. I wouldn't think so. Well, guess we will stay here and take turns watching our shit so nothing gets taken. And then he sent me pictures, and asked me if he knows Tom Hardy. I said, I was told that Lee Brothers and Hardy is this name Kurt mentioned early on, saying that Tom Hardy and 5 other people have taken people out to the desert to shake them down for money and rob them before. I've heard the name, but we've never crossed paths. I said, okay, but I came across something kind of odd and eerie today. It was near a dead, rotting cow that has been there since May, and it was a collared sweatshirt and a black rodeo jacket. You sure? And then I talked to him on the phone, and then September 7th, this is what he said. This is where shit went bad with us. You sure had a lot to say on no thanks. They're making me out to be a horrible person. Ouch. And now trying to make me a suspect. I feel like an idiot. This really hurts me. I should have never talked to you about it. Ouch. I thought I was making friends. I says, I promise you I will make sure that this is cleared up. I had no idea it was going to go this way. I never said anything but good about you. This ruins relationships for me entirely, and I have nowhere else to go. I said, what do you mean? What was it you that really went in with a gun and there was a struggle and it discharged, or is that bullshit? I fucking hate Doug for this. I have never met Ty. I'm done talking with you at all. I said, I never said you did. Thanks for helping fuck my life up worse than I already had. I'm here trying to fix things. I said, I thought you were an awesome guy. I never spoke bad of you at all, or anyone for that matter. He said, and now this. I can't believe I was so stupid. I said, I will make sure shit is set right. You have every reason to be upset, and I will clear shit up. A lot of shit got twisted, he said. I said, fuck yes, it did. It got beyond twisted. And I said, Jim Terry wanted your number. Oh, I guess I did say that. Jim Terry wanted your number. And I said, no, but wondering if that's the way to go is speaking to him, since Doug is running out of people that are backing him because they are seeing through his shit. If they try to make you make you a suspect and you have nothing to do with it, then no need to worry. I'm talking to Crime and Justice, asking about what's being said, and she said nothing besides the here, I'll forward it. The only thing I know is that he was allegedly the one shooting outside the bar on the Thursday. Is that true or not? Either way, the honesty will vouch for your word and competence. I talked to you about how amazing the sense of community is here. I talked about how solid and true a lot of the people are. Everyone helps one another, unlike any place I've been. This sickens me. I said, that's exactly what I said too. I promise, nothing but good. I said, hey, if anybody is thinking bad or saying bad things that they're saying they heard, go ahead, direct them to me, because I will tell them the truth, and I will tell them what I was told by you, which was nothing but great things about the community, nothing negative, nothing bad, nothing wrong. And so by no means that she drag your name in the mud, so that if it's getting twisted in between everybody's bullshit, then send them to me, because I will tell them the truth, or what you said, and what was everything good, and put Doug under the bus. The fuck, that's what I said. Hey, Louise is the one talking shit on you, no one else. And then that was the last text, and that was September 7th. Louise, the mail lady at the fucking mail postal service or whatever, the post office. So, did that help anybody out there wanting to know anything?
Huh.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I know Queen was asking a lot of stuff, so hopefully. I do got pictures of that jacket that I sent to you.
Hang on. I'll be back in 1 second.
So I'm curious to what everybody thinks about that picture.
It was weird. It was in the middle of fucking nowhere, just hung up on a post.
Right.
Then there was that fucking truck that I seen with the Mexican dude driving it. Like, he was just out of place. Out of, like, you don't see that shit out there. You know what I mean? It's farmers and ranchers and shit. Like, you just don't see what I seen. It was so out of place. Just seemed off and odd.
Yeah, it's definitely suspicious.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
weird.
So here's the thing about this conversation. I don't know everybody involved, and I'm not certainly an expert on any of this stuff. But Jim would probably be a better person, obviously the best person to speak about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was
And
just
Jim-
letting Queen know because she was the one asking, and I guess apparently he's been trying to find this.
Well, it is interesting. I mean, there's so much shenanigans going on that it's interesting that people up there are having their lives ruined by a guy like Doug, who's I mean, I guess according to at least this email or this message chain back and forth, but and that guy's ruined his own life. I don't know. It's just a bunch of craziness and a bunch of shenanigans. You know, I'm so glad that I've never hung out in a place like that or in Oklahoma or anything. You know.
Right. Oh, Queen. It was warm during the day, but it was fucking chilly. That weekend in May, it was fucking chilly. Like the nights and were chilly, but other than that, it was warm. But when we went back in September and I found that jacket, that was completely out of place for that time of year. It had been there. There was cobwebs and a spider and shit in it. So it had been there for a minute.
I don't know, Kyrie. She's asking if Jim knows this stuff, but I'm going to tell you this. I know that when you were talking, Jim called on the other line, and when you're done, Miss T, he will go on after you're done
Okay.
here. So
We can
I
do
don't know
that.
how much longer, and I'm not trying to rush you off or anything. I'm here with you too. I got to go pee too, but Jim was saying he'll come on, after you're done, because we definitely passed you into the, into the monetization world, I think now.
I think so too. Thank you so much, everybody, for all the love and support. And we're just going to do exactly the opposite. And on my channel, this is the one and only time you will see a reaction or a response from me, because I normally don't entertain or respond. I just ignore the bullshit, but sometimes it does need to be addressed. So I hope you all have a beautiful and blessed day or night at this time, or day, wherever you may be at. I don't know.
Let me ask you this before you go, Miss. Before you do, so your next live is going to be when? So your next live, I assume, is going to be the one. It takes a couple days for this to go through, and then to set the monetization. You're going to probably be fast on this. So when will you be your first monetized live? Some time next week or something, or how will you do that?
Possibly. They're supposed to email me once I hit everything and everything processes.
Are you set up on AdSense already?
I
You
have
see
to
what
look.
the order just put. I'm sorry, that was hilarious.
Yeah, you got to send over your ID, or if you do a quick company, or if you do it underneath your name, or however you decide to do it. And then the last part is getting that.
Everything's set up. I just can't remember because it's been forever.
Because you get super chats and super stickers before you even get that thing in the mail that kind of like legitimately sends it to you. I don't even think Sloth has gotten that yet. And by the way, for those posting, or those thinking, anybody who might be overweight or this or that, I'm not judging somebody by me saying Sleeper Cell's a big fat fucking slob. This is a guy, or big fat fucking pumpkinhead salty, or Doug's small dick. When people point fingers, they got fingers pointing back at them. So somebody who might be overweight or need to work out, I tell these people to hold up a mirror and look at themselves. So if somebody else happens to be overweight, or somebody else happens to be this or that, the fact of the matter is that is what it is. But you got a guy who's in the middle of nowhere. I guess he's streaming your live, Miss T, on his YouTube channel, which he'll probably private it or take it down. You could strike him for it, but what are you going to do to him? It's not like he's monetized. The guy's a nothing.
Who?
Sleeper Cell's streaming this on his YouTube channel, probably talking about me.
And on Twitch.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the advertisement. I mean, it just does.
Bailey, hush. Sorry,
Well,
guys.
I hope he'll be watching when you have your first monetization, and you know, if he's collecting another
you.
check, you know, from us. So, I mean, good luck to him. I mean, my suggestion is go down there and put an application in at the, you know, the Mission Kitchen, the Baptist Church right there on Mission Lane. You could do that, or you can go down to casino. I saw that they were hiring. They need somebody to work the slot machines down there. So that's available to you too.
And I
Instead of just-
appreciate everybody in chat, and I'm not talking to myself. So we really appreciate all the love and support. I love you guys so much. And I hope you all have a beautiful and blessed day and night. Thank you, Kelly, for joining me.
you.
You've always been a support system to me. I
Yes.
am not on pills. And I can debunk anything.
Good
Find
job.
whatever you want.
Well, you deserve it, Miss
chat-
T. I know you've been working hard to get
Christine.
towards this, and I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, more of your shows and, you know, for you to do your thing, because you actually do focus in on true crime where, you know, I don't do that. Jim's not even a true crime channel. Johnny Yarbrough is not a true crime channel. So I know this is your passion and people are into this. So
Yes.
it's way beyond even the Dylan Round stuff. So I wish you luck, and I'm here to help you as much as I can.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for Equalizer, Betty hopping up. I know the chat loves Betty.
Yes.
I'm trying to get her into streaming and starting all of that too. So there'll be plenty of more content coming. And I could not say thank you enough because I never even thought this would even happen. So thank you. I'm very blessed. Bloop. Thank you so much. And on that note, we can move on over to Jim Terry and see what he has to say. And after last night, I am completely exhausted. The twins took me and we hung out with some flamingos, some turtles that were shacking up, some parrots, some goats, some big gators, and had a fun time. And I hope you guys just remember your ripple matters. It may not be effective today. It might be in 10 years and it comes back to you and realize what your small to you impact might be to big to someone else. And on that note, love y'all. Peace out.
it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo,
yeah.
no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Famous for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'll never stop it.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top,
I'm always flirting with pain, she like to hurt me and maim. I'm always working to change, but she's still lurking the same. I keep on building a dynasty while the haters be trying me. But they hate from inside, you see, hate themselves in society. So I let them speak quietly while my actions speak wider. See, they be hiding in privacy with the screen, oh the irony. To hate someone who's trying to be whatever they would like to be. We all feel the anxiety, we make our own rivalries. Yo, so where is all the positivity? I feel like we all just hate on everything, it's killing me. Thoughts build quick, causing different possibilities. Negative thoughts will cause different disabilities. So do better, work hard under pressure. If you got no time, work smarter than ever. Don't ever let them tell you that you can't never say never. And turn your mind into the truest to go-getters.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'll never stop it.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah. Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top,
Yo,
yeah.
no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters. And we ain't got nothing to hide, we move forward like soldiers. You better wake up for the pay stub, or you'll pay up. Don't make love to the game, bruh, fuck the game up. Change up, rearrange stuff to your greatness. Famous for the way up, play the game, bruh.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, there ain't no way I'll never stop it.
I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top,
I'm always
yeah.
flirting with pain, she like to hurt me and maim. I'm always working to change, but she's still lurking the same. I keep on building a dynasty while the haters be trying me. But they hate from inside, you see, hate themselves in society. So I let them speak quietly while my actions speak wider. See, they be hiding in privacy with the screen, oh the irony. To hate someone who's trying to be whatever they would like to be. We all feel the anxiety, we make our own rivalries. Yo, so where is all the positivity? I feel like we all just hate on everything, it's killing me. Thoughts build quick, causing different possibilities. Negative thoughts will cause different disabilities. So do better, work hard under pressure. If you got no time, work smarter than ever. Don't ever let them tell you that you can't never say never. And turn your mind into the truest to go-getters.
Never stop, I'll get it if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top, yeah.
You know I'm always honest, never slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that, spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas, think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.